and they told us we was jealous, we was haters, and everything, and just wait your turn, and it's not your time, and all that other nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole bunch of liberal-minded conservatives too. You got some communist agitators. You know, it was not lost on me that TPUSA sound just like CPUSA. Okay, you got a lot of communist agitators over here on the conservative side. Notice these people didn't pop up till after Trump was elected. There was no use for them. If they were really in line with what Trump is talking about, they wouldn't have been talking about him like a dog on Twitter one minute and then they're pro-Trump the next. And conservatives argued us all the way down about allowing these Negroes. But now, it's a whole nother story. Now everybody's desperate and clamoring. And it's like, had you not listened, this is what we were talking about. And we were also talking about America has to do, you still owe that money. You got all that slave labor for free. You still owe that money. That's not welfare. That's not socialism. That's not communism. It's a bill. You have an invoice, okay? And you need to do something. And it's not just about money, but you allowing an entire group of people to be disenfranchised opens the door for your enemy to come in and exploit those people and use them against you. And that's why we are where we are now. Black people consume the most media. Black people have been keeping social media entertaining, okay, since the beginning. And if it was not all these loud Black voices saying Trump is a racist all day long and helping to the media and parroting the media's narrative, if y'all cut that in the bud 4 years ago when we gave you the blueprint on how to do so, we told you what to do. And had you did it, you would not have this, the masses of the people listening to the media and still believing them. We told you what to do.
That's true.
So conservatives have to take some responsibility for that. Before we rebleed, you were talking about Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Please repeat that for us.
Okay, so I'm gonna break it down to you.
Break it on down.
Turn the kid music down a little bit. We can hear your daughter's TV.
I know, that's the only way to keep quiet.
I keep it moving. Okay, so this election is not over with. First of all, we're still talking about many states have not become certified. So first of all, don't believe the media. Don't believe social media. Don't follow the links that are telling you don't repost. And this is fake news, because the social media has really done a lot of brainwashing on the American people. We constantly keep talking about descendants of slaves, right? American descendants of slaves. What's in jeopardy is not only the American descendants of slaves. What is in jeopardy is, which they're going to be talking about, is American descendants, period. American descendants' citizenship right has come back into the forefront and question when it comes to the chief and commander and leading the fight of leadership in this country. So I'm going to read what has been going out on the circuit on the streets, because, I'll be listening to the ground. And there's an organization that's basically getting ready to do a lawsuit. But according to the 12th Amendment article to the United States, Kamala Harris is ineligible to be vice president. Listen, it's ineligible to be vice president or president of the United States because she is not a natural-born citizen. Now, what is a natural-born citizen? For those who are listening, a natural-born citizen is a person who was born in this country and parents were born in this country. That is a natural-born citizen. You were born and your parents were born. Anything above that line, I think you might be still okay. But in this case, that's not her. The definition of a natural-born citizen includes both parents need to be citizens at the time of the child's birth. In her case, parents were students of a different country visiting the United States. Does this not sound familiar? When we got all these foreigners, these Russians and everybody else, we ain't gonna keep talking about Latinos, Asians, all these people come here and they dump their baby. And then all of a sudden their baby has the same citizenship rights as a natural born citizen. That is not constitutional. This lawsuit is designed to stop candidates and all candidates who are in the future who are ineligible to run for office. Okay. That is coming out. The original intent of the Constitution, which was designed and guided against foreign influencement within this country. So in this case, you're dealing with a class action lawsuit that is stirring up right now that'll be serving these candidates. And I don't think it is the issue of just the presidency. I think it's a trickle down from the top to the bottom. So all these elected officials that we have had in the House and the Senate are going to come to question, especially the ones who are these immigrants, the ones that parents are not legal citizens, or even if they're legal, they're not natural born citizens. They're immigrants. And in order for you to run for office, make this clear, not you, but your parents must be a natural born citizen. That's huge for the Trump administration, because that's why Trump was always saying, people don't get, Trump is playing 3D chess. Okay. While this is going on, that we're talking about, the other thing is the voter fraud in all these different states. And then you're dealing with Dominion, which is how they switch the votes and how the numbers are coming in and how the vote watchers are questioning. That's a whole nother gambit. This gambit that we're talking about affects Black Americans, because if we look at what is the 13th Amendment, that talks about citizenship rights. That was written for descendants of slaves to legitimize us as citizens in this country. We are not citizens in this country. We were brought here as commoditized good trades and service. The only reason they brought us here is to build wealth for white Americans, period. But by that time in history, we had dominated in numbers and contributed so much that the white guilt said, look, we need to do something. We got to make these people humanized other than commoditized, because now we need to do something for them. So they citizenshiped us. And that is clarified just for us. But over the years, it has transcended and it has never changed. The Constitution never changed. It's just other people have created their own ways of amendments. This issue will go to the Supreme Court. The question is, will Black people give up their birthright to immigrants and illegals and legal immigrants to this country to nullify us and to justify them? and then, okay, and you say yes, but let me tell you what's greater. White America will say no. Guess who wins? White America. Exactly. White America will win. Exactly. Let me tell you what white America will win. Because like I said to you, Black Americans, when we talk about Black Americans are descendants of slavery. White Americans are descendants of America. That's the white colonists. That's the daughters of the revolution, the sons of the revolutions, the daughters of World War I, the daughters of World War II. You guys need to look those organizations up. They exist today. They are valid today. And those white colonist people are not going to let this country be taken over by a alleged Black immigrant Indian woman who could easily be president by this man being 78 years old. You don't think these white people are digging up some old books from 19, from 18, from 17, from 16? Oh, it's on and cracking. They're going to take this. This is the Kraken is going to be released. So when you think people are shouting and screaming in the streets, Black people don't read. White people don't read. And if you read, you'd realize that the Constitution from a federal level, from top to bottom, is never designed for you or an immigrant. It's designed for white colonists. And so white colonists are going to pull up their rule book and they're going to say, you don't qualify.
Protestant colonists.
Well, clarify that, please, Kiki.
The Protestant part is very important.
Yes, it is. Because we got all these Muslims moving over here, y'all. And when you're talking about Protestant, you're talking about Christianity, this country was founded on Christian Judeo values. And I say that because if you go to DC right now, in marble, they have scriptures embedded all over the place. When you go visit at DC and certain state capitals, it's embedded. It's historical. They're not going to erase it. Okay. So now that they've opened up the doors to all these foreign countries and all their weird religions, they're trying to take all that out. And these white colonists are saying, oh, no, no, no. According to the founding fathers, your ass legitimately are not a natural born citizen. I would think that more of us, especially ADOS and foundational Black people, should rise up and stand behind the constitutional rights that have been given to us and push them people back even further.
There was a question earlier. We had a caller. Where did he go? I don't think he's in here anymore. But we had a caller earlier that was talking about how Americans believe that this is the best country in the world, and that may have to do with just the fact that this is the only country that we know, and that basically, well, that's basically all he was saying. But just in general, I know a lot of people do feel that way. Me personally, I feel like the way that our country was formed is something it's very interesting, the idea of America and how it came together, and how, and what the founding fathers, took that they liked or disliked, or things that they left out that they disliked from other countries. Can you speak to that, Shirley? How do you feel about America? I guess race aside, and then we'll get to the race part. But just America in comparison to other countries, is there another nation or another way of life that you think would be better or more effective?
No, I think legally our rights are here, who are descendants of slaves. I'm not going to walk away from my birthright of the ancestors who died for me, who gave up their rights for me, and then say, I'm going to try to make it better in Africa. African people don't respect African Americans. If you get into their country, when you go to Africa, you are still a second-class Negro. You will never be at their level. You'll never be fully vested. You'll never be fully respected. Okay? You will always be a foreigner, aka Meghan Markle. AKA Meghan Markle. She married an English prince. And when she got over there, she realized she was a nigger. And he knew that he'd married, and he told him, I don't give a rat's ass. I'm not heir to the throne. I'm like number 16th in line. Because you remember, if you understand how British people work or the queen works, it is her son. First, it's the son who's like 78 years old. Then it's the firstborn, and then it's the firstborn's children, and then it gets to Meghan Markle's husband. So he's like, hey, I'm dealing with racism. I'm dealing with craziness. I'm going to take my wife to America and bring her back to this crazy ass state of California. Hey, they living up in Malibu or Santa Monica. So you will always be a different class of citizen in somewhere else. But in America, you are first class because she is Adolf. She is a descendant of slaves. Her rights and her freedom here are more powerful than anywhere else in the world. Why would she live here versus there? Because she feels more protected and there's more opportunity for them here. So the same thing for us. But if we don't own that opportunity and we're going to leverage our citizenship to somebody else, that's a detriment. Let me go back to answer your question, Kiki. If we look at British, remember, America went to war. There were people who didn't want to be part of the colonist movement. And so we went to war with Great Britain. And then we broke away and we came and we created, quote unquote, America. White people did. And then when the British people found out, they came here and they started to try to tax us in America, and we drove them out. And so when white people started working, they said, oh, this land is hard. Oh, this is not as easy. Where do? We're going to get slaves like the people in Spain and other countries. Remember, blacks was already slaves in other countries. And so we're going to bring them here. Okay. And then some of them are already here. That date is always questioned, but let's go with 1619. If we go to 1619, when the first 20 or so black workers came here, these poor people who were brought here as slaves, who survived that long travel on that ship and got here, were automatically put to work as commoditized good trades and service. Okay. They never brought us here to citizenship us, to legalize us. We were never given the same rights as the Irish or the British or any of these other people who they said, well, they were slaves to us. Because even when a black woman gave birth, her child was automatically a slave. Can you imagine your child is born into slavery and their children's children is born into slavery?
And furthermore, for whatever part of history that was, it was long before any of us existed. So by the time we all came to this planet, they had already assimilated. These groups have assimilated. Now, if you still live in New York or something, which is heavily segregated for whatever reason, then these issues might still come up. But most people do not know that you're Irish unless you tell them. Most people do not know if you're Italian or what the German or whatever the deal is unless you tell them. But everybody knows when you're black. They can look at your ass.
It's true. That's very true.
And can you speak to, I don't know if this is something that you talk about, or if this is a topic that you tackle, but it seems to me that the Black church has a strong hold on the mentality of especially our elders in the community. And I have noticed that Black preachers, I don't know how I'm still able to be surprised, but it is shocking. The Black preachers right now, just the way that they are coming after Trump and the way that they are supporting Joe Biden, and there is just like no conversation happening about morality. Is this all just because they got that 501c3? I mean,
so they have to keep their 501c3, and so that's the thing with the liberals, and that's how the gay movement got their clout, because they demonized the Black community and they started telling Black preachers, you're not going to get your Rolls Royce money if you don't start, being quiet or getting on board with it.
That's a very good point. Let me tell you my perspective of this.
Okay.
White America has always looked to, if we go back to the 60s, they think, and they're learning real quick, that the Black church has a Black voice hold. That the Black church, has a Black voice hold, meaning that the Black church has always been our voice, right? Then you want to go to Black people, go to the Black leaders, go to the Black church. Those people are the ones that lead us. Fast forward to 2020, Black people don't go to church. And white America is going to wake up to that. And they're slowly waking up to that, because the Black leaders today are anti-American, anti-God, and anti-Christ. Because anybody who supports anti-America is anti-Christ. This country was founded on Christian Judeo values, and you support a candidate that doesn't want to use the word Christianity or Christ or Christmas and anything, because that's what Obama's administration supported. You support a candidate that is allowing other countries and other religions and other gods to circumvent your foundation of your spirituality, then you're anti-Christ. But let's go down to the power plays of this. Once it was white America, who's looking for real Black voices, realized, because I would tell them, I wouldn't give them Black churches nothing. They wouldn't get a dime from me. I believe you want them to have a voice to the Black table. Unfortunately, it comes down to Black people are more influenced by entertainers, music, and athletes. That's the people who have power. How in the hell did all these athletes have all these powers? How did Kaepernick get all this, or how do you say his name, get such power? Because he went out there. Kaepernick. And
his girlfriend, who was an immigrant, Egyptian immigrant, or her parents, I don't know, whatever. She ain't a natural born citizen, something like that. And here she is in the #1 radio market in New York City. And I had to look, let me Google it. I had to look it up, see, what's this child's resume? Okay, you went to UC Berkeley. Okay, that's cute. Then you intern somewhere. Then you in the #1 market, radio market. It does not work like that. It does not work that way. And then she's so unprofessional. She interviewed Mariah Carey the other day. I tried to watch it. I couldn't even watch the interview because she's so busy fangirling, and she's so excited to be. You're in the #1 market. That's what happens when you work in the #1 market. You're going to interview A-list celebrities. And it's just like these type of opportunities for actual Black women with 2 Black parents that was born in America. You don't just wake up one day. I don't know no Black people that just wake up and just get this lucky with these prominent positions of power and money and influence and access and visibility. I just don't see it happening. But for an immigrant that has a tint of shade where they can pass for Black, they will give it to them just to make it look like these things are attainable. And I've been trying to explain this to young girls who are working their ass off, and they just, for this pie in the sky, and they feel like if something is wrong with them, why they're not being promoted or why they're not getting a job or the opportunity when they have done everything. I'm not talking about handouts, welfare recipients. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about middle-class kids who come from good households, who went to college, who go to work on time, who show up, who work their asses off. They are still looking around trying to figure out, wait a minute, Becky don't have half the education. These girls from the Middle East, the Hispanics, the visitor, these people do not have not worked as hard as I have. Yet every time I turn around, they are being promoted and being pushed further in a position of power. And it's like, it's because you Black. And then you have the people who are exploiting Black folks. And it's like, we can't even get to the root of the problem, because my interest is in what is beneficial to the middle class. And that includes Black folks that are middle class. That's my interest. But these prominent Black celebrities are all from the low class. Like I talked about Charlemagne earlier. This is a criminal. He's a high school dropout. He's from his mama he was probably born drug dependent. Not even trying to be funny. And those are all the people who they have turned into millionaires out of the Black community.
That's true.
And that's by design, because that's one big thing of warfare. When you pick their leaders and their leaders are also dysfunctional and you run them, you never have to worry about any objection. And that's why, your channel got snubbed, Shirley's got snubbed, Tree, and even on the other side, like the pro-Black folks who got some good legitimate stuff, like Tariq's got stuff, he's getting back on track, but Jason Black, all these other people that they talk about our people in different categories, of course, they all got snubbed because the thing is, you guys cannot be bought. They like, for example, Andrew Gillum. That stuff that happened on Andrew Gillum, they knew that way back in the day. They picked him because they had that on him. They picked Charlemagne because they always have that rape stuff on them. They pick people that they can control, that they can always take down. That's the plan.
Very true. And we should be having our own. We should have our own. I was gonna say real quick, we should have our own, so we don't even need to depend on them in the first place. But
exactly,
how many times have we had our sandcastle kicked down? And this is the type of conversation and education that white conservatives have to sit down. And I mean, if you really want to be competitive, because you're losing your country right now to some ruthless people. You know what I'm saying? They are willing to go through any length. I'm like, who is that brave to steal a damn presidential election? Y'all got more balls than a brass ass monkey. What is going on around here? And it's so the conservatives are just acting like, no, everybody, we should all get along, and it doesn't matter. And I'm not racist. I just judge people based off of their character.
This is bringing out these old white militia groups are gonna come up. I'm letting you know, these old white Southerners, these white people have been waiting for this revolutionary movement. This is no joke, but I don't want to pivot away from something y'all just said, which is so true. I got to ask you this question. Look at the real. Now, Amanda left the show. Remember, Amanda was raw and she was real. Look who they replaced on the show. I can't think of that chick's name. She's from Haitian, from Haiti.
Garcelle Bebe.
Yeah. And she's quick to tell you, I'm not Black American. I'm from Haiti. I'm from Haitian.
Right.
So she falls right into that perfect category of she's pretty, she's Black, she's older. I was shocked they picked her because I thought they picked an older Black woman to replace. They could have put Tisha Campbell or somebody. Tisha got a younger, smarter energy level than this lady. But no, some PR person is promoting this Black Haitian woman. I want to know why.
Well, but keep in mind, Kiki, that's what you were saying earlier. I mean, I think we were talking about this before. I think it was like a personal conversation, or you was on a podcast, how you just didn't understand how exactly that. You was kicking ass, everything, the ideas were your ideas, this and that. You just could not even go, not even up to the top, just like half the level. I got level up just one, like a little tick, and the dude told you they have nothing on you because you didn't go to the parties, you didn't get drunk, and then do body shots with the boss.
Right.
And then when you talk to the boss, the door was open, and you put clothes on, and that's how it is in corporate America. Absolutely. But Shirley, you was down there with the conservative white. I know they not playing in Georgia. They finally understand. Yeah, because my home, and I think they're getting it because my homegirl. Well, I won't say her name because I don't want her to you guys know who she is. But anyways. I was telling her, I was like, I said, M, I call her M. Do you see why the Black community is as fucked up as we are? This is why. These same people that's taking y'all shit down, this is our life every single freaking day. Period. It's never anything, no standards, no rules, stuff's all fucked up. It's down today, up tomorrow. Work hard, can't get promoted. This is how it is looking at community. And now guess what? Your name is Keisha. And she got it. She now gets it.
Oh, is she white?
Yeah, she's white. Yeah,
okay.
I told you. I sent you the picture, remember?
Yeah, I know you didn't preface it that we were talking about the same person. So she's getting the full nigga experience.
Yes, and she understands. She's like, Demetrius, I cannot believe you guys dealt with this.
Yes,
she's
I mean,
like,
the gaslighting, the massive gaslighting on a national scale that's happening right now. That's exactly what it feels like to be Black. Okay, you got people standing here pissing on your leg and telling you that it's raining. That is exactly what it's like. In the same way the media keep telling you there's no such thing as voter fraud, there's no such thing as voter fraud, that's when you sit here and tell me there's no such thing as fucking racism. How irritated you feel? It's the same shit. The same system. What is this? This is systematic voter fraud. Oh, but you couldn't see no systematic racism. So some of this is your karma.
Yep.
Some of this is your karma.
And I know Shirley was down there telling them. I know Shirley was giving it to him down there. I don't feel sorry for them. I said, you know what? This is y'all fault. We've been trying to tell y'all forever. He's like,
I still go back to saying,
always racist. It's always racist.
I still go back to saying that this is white America. Thank you, Todd. On my website, on my page said Amanda Seals. That's what her name was. Amanda was too raw and real, so they got rid of her and they replaced her with a Haitian woman. Look, let's do an example. If you got two women, both of these women are highly educated. They got a 4.0. They have two. Both of them have masters, and they both go for a job interview. They're both Black, allegedly. They both have well-written resumes. They've got a lot of people liking them. But guess what the difference is? One is Jamaican and one is Black American. Guess which one's gonna get picked? The Jamaican. I was on an airline flying back, and I told this story to a white man, and the Jamaican stewardess was across from me, and everybody's listening to me. I was like, I don't give a rat's ass. I had my mask on, running my mouth like a motor box, because this man was a doctor and he was white next to me. And I kept saying to him, let me make this clear. You white and uneducated. I didn't give a rat's ass. He had to sit next to me the whole time. He couldn't move. And I said, because if you knew history and you understood the cultures of people, white people are circumventing me using my birthright and my God-given laws that have been allocated to position me to be leveraged with you, to work with you, and you circumvent me and you put her in the place. And the lady said, you know what? She's telling the truth. I am from Jamaica, and I've got the same everything, but they're going to pick me. Because you know what she says? I'm not Black American. See, they start off and they tell these white people, I'm not like them. When they get private with white people.
And here's the difference. And they know when you walk in, because I walk in with confidence like I own the place. I don't give a damn about how cute and beautiful you can have nice blonde hair and all of that, girlfriend. But I'm rocking my hairdo too. And guess what? I'm going to change my hair as often as I want. And I got some badass suits just like you got, and my heels and my satchel. And let's go, honey. And what? You said I'm doing what? No, ma'am. We close at 5. And here it is every day at 5:45. And you keep coming to me with an issue at 5:45. Why you don't ever have no issues at more like 3 p.m., ma'am?
Right.
I will catch you tomorrow. Whereas somebody who has come to this country for a quote unquote better life, you're going to have more of a sense of appreciation, maybe. And then too, they're consuming media just like everybody else. And quite frankly, y'all just like white people a whole lot more than is what is healthy, with this assumption that white is right. For example, I went to Guitar Center one time. You go in, you have to check in your instrument before you go whatever. It was an African man, and all his job is to do is check the damn instruments. So now it's my turn. These white people came up and stood in line in the back of the line. He tell them white folks, "No, come on, you can go next." I said, no, just because they're white doesn't mean that they're next. I'm next. I stood in this line. See, that's what's wrong with y'all. You're like, oh, no, I went off because I was really pissed. See, that's the problem. See, you come over here and you want to treat Black Americans like shit, so you can kiss white people's asses. All we doing is checking instruments. Just something that simple. Just something that simple. And so it's just like the fact that we're not kissing ass like that, and the fact that we have confidence because we have earned these things. You know what I mean? It's like we have, and it's not the same. Everybody that is growing up Black is not going to school in an all Black environment. Some of us, like myself, went to school in white environments where, hell, it was well be the 1950s, as many niggas as I got called walking down the damn aisles. You know what I'm saying? So I have had an opportunity to see the ugly side of white people. I've also met some real cool ass white people that are just really smart or always have my back and just been really cool, whatever. But I say all that to say, I'm not scared of white people. I'm not intimidated by white people the same way that a foreigner would be. And that seems to be a problem for white liberals. They need you to be kissing their ass. They need you to just be so happy to be in their presence, and whatever they give you, you need to be satisfied with. A quick story, one time, I took, when Obama was president, when there were no jobs out here, and we had to take our college degrees around here and work menial ass jobs, like we had never been to school at all anyway, just to come to find out that McDonald's workers is essential and we ain't. So anyway, during Obama's presidency, I had to take this little job. The man in the interview, he offered me $10. Okay, then calls me up and says, we're gonna give you the job, but I can only pay you $9. And I really needed a job. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll take it. And showed up ready with bells on to just do my job, and I'm gonna work hard and prove myself. And then and what did he do? He hires a white girl to do the exact same job and pays her $10. Did that white girl have a college education? Not only did she not have a college education, she had a criminal background and she was a pillhead too. Now that's none of my business, okay? But when we fell out, when me and old boy fell out, because he tried to talk to me crazy on payday, it's a long story, don't even matter. I went to the state commissioner and I filed a claim against him because he did not give me my final check. Now he owed me a punk ass $700, which he didn't want to pay. He told the state commissioner, no, I should only give her $200. I don't know what she was doing at work all day. Some bullshit. They said, yeah, okay. Not only did he have to pay me the $700, but they made him cut me a check for $3,700 because they added penalties to it because they said the national minimum wage is $10. So had you gave that girl what you said in that interview, you'd have been okay. But you paid her $9, which is under the federal minimum wage, and then you didn't pay her a final check, and we have federal laws against slavery. And free labor, that's slavery. And we're not having that here in the United States of America, okay? So cut this little girl a $3,700 check, Mr. White Man. Okay, his ass was bright red. He was bright red. And see that when I had to go to mediation with him, I was sitting in front of an American flag, okay? With a white judge, and she was a white woman, and she was a judge, and she was not here for none of his bullshit. She was not here for it. So it's like the way that the laws are set up is not the problem. It's the problem is you got people who don't want to follow the law, and you got people who don't want to enforce the law.
Exactly.
Okay, now before you guys start, I just want to bring on this other caller. We got somebody waiting. And is it Wilhelm? Am I saying that right? Let me add you to the stream. Wilhelm?
Yeah. It's Wilhelm von Schadow.
What's up?
Hey,
what's up, Von Schadow?
Hey. First of all, let me just show love to you. Kiki, I've been following you for a minute, and I've always admired your work. I just want to say that before I get into what I want to ask you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. The question that I have for you and for the other people on the call is, I feel like Donald Trump is sort of a levee that's holding back this dam of, or holding back a flood rather, that American culture is trying to go into. American culture is trying to go into this LGBTQ, this immigrant rights kind of thing. It wants to do that. And Donald Trump, for better or worse, was sort of the last levee that was trying to hold back on that. And if it turns out that he is not going to be a successful levee, I just want to know, what do you think the country might look like if that dam bursts, so to speak?
Venezuela.
And we see what it is.
The Black community, Baltimore.
Right, they get up.
Just wall to wall Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. No, I think Venezuela was a good answer. I think Switzerland is a good answer. I'm not going to speak on hypothetics. I'm going to speak according to the Constitution. And right now, there's some unconstitutional acts being played in this country. And white America is not going to walk away and let this get by that easily.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be some foots and asses before that happens.
Yeah, and I think we're going to the Supreme Court. So don't underestimate the Trump-Pence campaign or the administration that's in place right now. They still leverage a lot of power because they're in power. And they're playing 3D chess. And so while we're thinking hypothetically what could happen in the future, which we all should, especially economically right now, I think everybody will actually be prepared for that.
Sort of the root of my question is, you know, even if Donald Trump is successful in this go round, it seems almost inevitable that this push or this drive is going to wash over the country at some point. You can call it 2024, you can call it 2028. Right. But eventually, you know, this drive to, you know, expound on LGBT
communism
rights. Yeah. Hey.
Because the thing is, they don't really care. They don't really care about gays. They just really care about destroying family values and American values, Christian values as much as possible. But here's the thing. These people who live alternative lifestyles are not reproducing at the same rate that Christians are. So if we can hold the line for a generation, then we might be okay. But it definitely looks like it's trending.
That's my question is, it looks like we can only hold it for 4 more years. It doesn't look like we can hold it for
I would disagree with you. And let me tell you why you're going to hold it for 4 more years.
Please explain.
Let me explain to you. They did not anticipate the LGBT, the white women who hate white men, the lesbian black sister who don't like black men, who likes to see black men incarcerated, who don't like alpha black male. All those people did not anticipate ADOS, and they did not anticipate the foundational black people. They did not anticipate black people asking who we are, which we're now questioning ourselves, and legitimizing ourselves through our genealogy. They didn't expect that. They didn't expect people to rise up like Kiki and me saying, oh yeah, I'm a descendant of slaves. That was never part of the vernacular. It was never part of how we were. We were born and raised in this country, and they never taught us that. They never talked about that. So because of those group of people who are growing in this country and chapters growing in this country, they are pushing back against anti-black families, because you know those groups are anti-black families, right? They want to promote all these strong black women who are lesbian and gays and all, and these transgenders who sit in with your children in libraries. Well, a lot of black people are like, hold up, I ain't in part of all that. And these Christians, like Kiki said earlier, the church Jesus people, stop. The church Jesus people, they need to be held accountable. Someone needs to call them on the table. Y'all getting a lot of money from Trump. You got a lot of money from the coronavirus. And yet we still don't see it in the black church people. We don't see it on the streets with the homeless people. So that whole black church thing that Trump's doing, to me, he ought to say, I cut you some good checks, do something with your money, and start a whole new black cabinet division of black business people, like Kiki said, and focus on black people who understand.
Wait, hold on, Shirley. He could have done that.
He could have done it.
He had it all.
He couldn't do it.
My bad, y'all. I fell out for it. I don't give him a pass.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this.
I'm sorry.
I was the first African-American descendant of slaves who spoke in behalf of Trump in 2016. Okay.
Yes, you did.
And I was, me and my son, and I worked with that special witch woman, which is Omarosa, who had a hidden agenda, who never worked in the best interest of black people. So he was advised by bad black people, and he still, to me, is not getting the best support of black people who are descendant of slaves and connecting to the ground.
Shirley, let me ask you this. Were you surprised when Ice Cube basically came out here and said,
oh, yeah.
Let me not even go out there.
Talk about it. Take it there.
I'll be thinking I'm on the phone with y'all. Okay, but basically, Ice Cube came out here and said, fuck these Mexicans. That's basically what he said. That's what I heard. Look,
this is what I heard. Ice Cube, who's from the West Coast, let's keep this clear, let's keep it 100, who ain't 16. This is a man, what, he's in his 50s or late 40s. This man ain't stupid. Yeah. This man ain't stupid. He ain't one for nothing, but he still got street. He still got ground in him, right? He still relate to his people, and he got people in his ear talking about, man, they ain't even one of us. Yeah, I know, but we descended of slaves. Why you ain't saying nothing? And after a while, he said, you know what? Someone called him out, and he started saying something. So he was willing to put his brand and his name on the table. And of course, black niggas, not black American, black niggas, throw this brother under the bus. But I don't think he's done yet. I think there's others that are going to come out, especially when they start talking about citizenship rights and natural rights and human rights. All that stuff's going to come up, especially natural born citizenship. But I
hear
commend that,
somebody
brother.
typing. So if y'all typing or something, just
I'm learning Russian. I'm getting the hell up out of here.
Well, it's not, it's not lost on me that Ice Cube is also, like you said, he's from California. He grew up in the hood, but got on a bus to go to the school somebody's giving me feedback. Okay. When he grew up in the hood and he went to a school in the suburbs, had to get on a bus and go to school in the suburbs, like myself, got that dual socialization of the Black community versus a nice middle class white community, you know what I mean? And really getting to see California especially, or America, is not treating everybody equally, fairly, and the same. And then also seeing how the Hispanic community, well, let me stop saying Hispanic, because it ain't Hispanics, it's Mexicans. Mexicans in California have been, what?
Give me some attention,
I see
woman.
you, baby, I'm talking, honey. Mexicans have benefited in Southern California so much off of everything that Black folks have done. And after the riots happened where we kicked the Koreans out, okay, they basically came in. It's not, Black people didn't replace Koreans in those shops. The Mexicans came in and replaced them, and it's not even no shade, but it's just like we've watched their kids grow up and be able to, their kids don't grow up and stay in the hood, and their kids are not having second and third generation the experiences that we're having. No, their kids are able to go off and move to a nice and vote Republican.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're in Norwalk, they're in Downey, they're in Cerritos, they're in Bellflower, and they got it going on out there.
Preach, Adams.
Yeah. No, I'm in LA. I know what's going on. I grew up here.
I'm in Ventura. They also Ventura as well. Ventura, Paso Robles, all yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out here on I'm on like Hoover. So
that used to be full hood. That used to be full hood.
The belly of the beast, because my family had property here, and over the last 2 or 3 decades, there's been a tidal shift, I should say. You know what I mean?
Please speak on that, because I grew up off of 35th and Central. Okay, I'm from LA.
Well, my father went to Jefferson High School along with.
See what I'm saying? And I could probably knows and I'm sure you're probably if you're my age, our parents probably know each other.
Yeah, I'm in my mid 30s, so
see, so we're about the same age. I couldn't go to Jeff. I couldn't go to Jeff because Jeff was a Mexican school. By the time it was time for me to go to high school, they barely spoke any English there.
My mother went to Fremont, and today that's a Mexican school.
When we say it's a Mexican school, we mean it is a Mexican school.
Yeah, Manual Arts used to be a Black school. Manual Arts,
race riots, the whole 9.
Yeah.
Okay, let's add the Real Hebrew. What's up, Real Hebrew, brother?
Okay.
Go ahead.
At this point, it seems like I heard someone put it very beautifully the other day that the Mexican border ends at Western. You know what I mean? Like if you're east of Western, you're pretty much in Mexico. From Western back to Figueroa, back to Central and Alameda, like all of that is Hispanic territory now. And when I was 100% in the 80s and 90s, Black people still were all the way over to Maine at least, but now it's not the case that way anymore.
It's definitely all the way to Western, and this is why I took offense. And let me not even start going there. But on that other side of Crenshaw, they are very much out of touch. These kids, their parents are the first families that integrated over there in the West Side, moved over there, Windsor Hills, Ladera, Baldwin Hills. And their sense of reality about LA apparently is skewed because when Shirley said, "Are you willing to give up your birthright?" Them people on that group on the other side of Crenshaw, yeah, they will.
Yeah, and that's another important point that you bring up, just in terms of how the population has shifted. I spent a lot of time on the East Coast, and they don't understand. The Black community on the East Coast doesn't understand what's happening on the West Coast in terms of when they think gentrification, they just think that it's like, rich white people moving into their neighborhood. And I think on the West Coast, especially in Los Angeles, at least, if you want to call it gentrification, it's not white people moving in and moving you out. It's sort of Hispanic immigrants kind of filling in a vacuum, maybe.
And don't forget, they get free money. Don't forget the free money that's given too.
Yeah, so free money. That's why I'm cautious to call it gentrification. I don't want to call it gentrification outright. But there's been a demographic shift in Los Angeles, in South Central Los Angeles, that is not perpetrated by white people. It's perpetrated more so by Hispanic immigrants. And you see that, like I said, all the way up to Western, if you're familiar with the kind of geography of South Central.
Yeah, that's true, because I'm in Studio City, and that the situation, you know, a lot of black men understand that the immigration is going to be able to do a full sweep. The East Coast black people, they pretty much have it where, you know, they're all, you know, they all intertwine with each other. But here in the West Coast, it's different politics specifically.
Yeah. I have a lot of black friends who are like, I gotta live in Compton. I'm sorry. I have a lot of black friends today who are like, I either gotta live in Compton or Baldwin Hills.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not in Compton or Baldwin Hills, then I don't have a black community to move into, because it's, gosh, I don't want to use the word overrun, but you know what I mean? Like, the rest of South Central is
overrun, man. Like,
it's overrun. It's overrun. And it's overrun. Why? And here's the thing. When I went to school in Burbank, it was like people acted like it was a privilege. But it's really not a privilege to go to school. Yeah, that's why I went to middle school and high school in Burbank, but I lived on 35th the whole time. It's not a privilege to go to school where you're the only black person. You gotta get called a nigga. The students, the teachers, the principal, everybody's in on it. You know what I'm saying? They want to use you when it's time to look like they have diversity or whatever, but then they want to use you as your punching bag. You know what I mean? And it's like being exposed to that type of racism is traumatic to a child. You know what I mean? And I didn't even look at it like that because I was, one, going through it, but two, we're not expected to even experience life as children. We're supposed to have understanding and discipline as adults, okay? But y'all don't raise white kids like that. They get to be kids for a good 21, 25 years first. So here I am with a maturity of an adult and here with a bunch of little silly ass kids, and there's nobody to raise them, nobody to reprimand them, nobody's getting any ass whoopings at school or at home. It's not going down. You know what I mean? And I should have been able to go to the neighborhood school and walk to my neighborhood and come. I shouldn't have to wake up 3 hours before everybody else so I can go to a whole nother town. All these different things, your sleep deprivation, you know, all these things also affect your education. But now when it's college application time, everybody's looking at grades, but nobody's looking at the fact of the different social hurdles that I had to overcome that my peers didn't have to overcome. Nobody ain't looking at that.
But also keep in mind as well, I want you to think about what we're talking about. You know, how they flood our communities with all these immigrants. They help them out, things of that nature. But you got to also look at this, how the racism is employed. Mind you, we think that racism is employed with called the N-word and this and that. The racism in the liberal side is employed through diversity, through progress, through tolerance. You got to be open. Open to everybody, because it means everyone gets help but you. You stay at the bottom. You just shut up and vote. We're going to help everybody. That's how the racism
and that tolerance, and because of that tolerance that you're speaking of, then the Mexicans don't have to assimilate. And that's why I say it's time to be fucking specific, okay? Because everybody want to be political correct, but when we talk about Hispanics, no, most Hispanics assimilate. Mexicans are the only ones who don't assimilate. So the difference between gentrification, when white people move in your neighborhood, they're bringing Starbucks, okay? Y'all coming around here with how many different fruit trucks, the ice cream truck, the donut man, the pizza lady. You got a chop shop next door.
I remember back in the good old days, it was just
El Pastor.
It was just the tamale lady back in the day.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Tamales.
Tamale lady with your chili cheese Fritos.
That's all it was, you know. And now it's the busted out pinata.
Oh God.
So I wanted to read something to you guys.
But you from Hoover, right?
Huh?
That's where I live now, but I've been in South Central pretty much my whole life. No, I'm down here by A-Tray.
Oh, okay, A-Tray. Okay, yeah. Okay. Cause I know people from 5 Deuce and 7-4.
Yeah.
Okay, now we ain't gang banging. Let's Shirley read the passage.
You know what I'm saying? Let's not get too.
Lord have mercy.
There will be no gang banging on the show.
He said, "I know somebody from 7-4 and 5."
Hold on, Shirley got to give something. Shirley got to read it.
Oh, so I'm going to be a little repetitive, but I'm going to add on to something. Everybody on this group right now are all from California. So for you guys who are watching online on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe to both channels, to Kiki and to mine. It really helps us get our numbers up and keep us rolling. So if you can just put a like or thank you so much in comments after the show, if you're not watching it live, that helps us know that, our time is put in, because we ain't making no money for doing this. We just try to wake up some black folks, because black folks is ignorant. They don't read. I'm sorry. Not all. I didn't say all. So don't get offended. If the dart hits you in the back, that means that it was applying to you, because you must thought you are part of those ignorant people. But those who listen to us and watch our channel are people who have integrity and character and understand the importance of knowing the real truth. And right now, what's coming into question is the 12th Amendment, okay? And that has to do with the Article 2 of the United States Constitution. Kamala wannabe Black Harris is ineligible to be vice president or president of the United States because she is not a natural-born citizen. A natural-born citizen means when both parents are citizens in the United States. When you are of the United States, that means that your parents were born here. Now, listen, there are 2 websites that are going after them. I put it in Kiki's link, and I put it on mine. It's called the Constitution Association.YOLASITE.com. They're the ones that are going to be suing, as well as other organizations. I think they're part of the Tea Party, but some of them are not. So what Trump is doing, which is it's a 3-layer game of chess. He has his people, and then people are separating from him because they're representing the American people, questioning this election. Because we're not talking about the presidency, we're talking about the voter due process. The whole process has become corrupt. Why is California crucial? Why everybody in this black room that we're talking about is crucial? Because we're trying to warn you Negroes across the country, this is about to go down. And it's about to go down because we've been dealing with these illegals, immigrants, migrants for a long time that have circumvented us, and they have been given, rights of reparations. Now, when white people hear that word, they run. Let me educate white people who follow Kiki and me both. What is reparations? Reparations means that people are able to circumvent black people, basically, and get benefits. Okay, what are the benefits of other people getting that are reparations? EB-5 visas, when you allow these people to come in this country with their family and give them money, that is a part of leverage. That is giving them rights. When you give people government programs like Obama did with the gays and lesbians and the transgenders, and all these people got special programs. When you do like Trump has done and given executive orders, he did an executive order for the Chinese and the specific Native Americans. He gave one for them. He also gave the Native Americans during COVID-19 $8 billion. Yet 30 to 40% of the people affected by COVID-19 were black people. We didn't get an executive order out of this president. No, Obama didn't give us an executive order to circumvent the leveraging opportunities that they give immigrants and illegal immigrants. So you can use different terms all you want. These people are able to get reparations, but California is going to be the state. That's why Ice Cube is important, because Ice Cube understands the detriment and the changing of the communities. Now, listen, there's another website I posted. It's called the newcalifornia.com.
Shirley, real quick, you guys, I gotta go to bed. I gotta wake up early in the morning. So I love y'all. I'll holler at y'all later, okay?
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, all right, take it easy.
Talk to you later. And Shirley, California has been, that's Hollywood headquarters. This is where they started their plan. They what they've done in California is what they want the entire country to look like. Look, or specifically
Ronald Reagan contributed to that too, and that was a Republican. He allowed these immigrants to come over here and he vetted them. So you're exactly right, Kiki. The New California is an organization designed to break California up and trying to control this movement of immigrants and saying that they want to create a new California. So there's a lot of constitutional and laws that are going to come into play before the next president, if it's Trump or Biden. I believe Trump is not going out that easy. And I also believe Trump will be president because he's going to find a lot of things that do not fit the Constitution. And you're going to also find out
the electoral
and the electoral. Exactly.
Shirley, if I can ask, if I can ask you, did you all hear about Gavin Gruesom's signature of that study for Black reparations? Did you guys hear about that? I think it happened 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, they always talking about they gonna study it.
And so is that just
it's a study? It's like HR 40. It's like Poppy Bush.
Concerted effort.
Like, dude, it's like Poppy Bush when Poppy Bush had the study of HR 40 in '89.
Okay.
It's just a study, bruh. It's nothing serious.
You think it's something that just came about because of George Floyd? They just kind of threw it out there.
Yes, they just threw it out there. Like I agree with you. Like it's really due to the Floyd situation. HR 40 was with Poppy Bush in '89. As long as it's just a study, it's just a study. Because they can get the study going, but really what a study is pretty much to the aspect of, okay, this is something for Black folk. Don't ask us nothing. Don't ask us no questions. We did a study for y'all. Pretty much be happy.
That's the bigger question that I want to ask is, if they do somehow miraculously pull out reparations for California Black people, does that somehow undermine what Black people want in this country as a whole, or is that a game?
Well, not only is it never even going to happen, but slaves were not brought to California. So, but California is a place.
Are in California.
The descendants of slaves migrated to California to get the hell up out the South, but that's way later. So I feel like, if anything, are you giving out reparations for what California has specifically done to Black people? That will require you to give out. You gonna give reparations for letting these immigrants move into the Black community, Governor Newsom? Is that what we talk about? Because let's study that. No, that's not what they want. See, that's the game. No, Let's study specifically what California is responsible for. Let's do that study. I'm all for it.
So the Democrat Party is using California as a template to show the world as well as the rest of the United States of what America is supposed to look like and what they want. The study was pushed through Gavin Newsom because the ADOS people, the chapters around the country and the chapters around the state have got together and tried to work with local people. And so Gavin Newsom needs to pacify. He's pacifying Black people, and like most white people do. And we accept the pacifier by saying we want to study. What the hell do you have to study other than history and law? We don't need to rewrite no laws. We don't need to rewrite no damn history. And we don't need to study no history. So this is created by white people. And if Black people look at accepting that, then you've given your birthright away. That's why Kamala wannabe Black Harris is not a descendant of slave. Her mother is from India. And technically, let me tell you who's really Black. If you're a child and your mother is white or something else, and your father is Black, you may not be technically fully vested as what they call a Negro, because a Negro is a person, or a slave was looked upon in this country was ones whose mother was Black. The mother had to be Black. And so nobody wants to understand the vetting of the word Negro. It was a Chinese immigrant that changed that and told us that we don't want to be called Negroes. And the reason she did that, because it reverted to history. Historical rights are given to Negroes. That's why they use the word. I claim the word. It's on my birth certificate because I'm older than most folks. But the people who are in my age bracket are Negroes. Look and see what your birth certificate says. It does not say.
Mine say Black. My grandmother is Negro.
Okay. And then my
grandmother said that we were colored Native Americans until the Census Bureau came around and marked everybody that had any tint to them as Negro.
Yeah.
So they changed that up. My grandmother's is mulatto. So on the Census Bureau, I've seen it. Hers is mulatto. Later on, they changed her from mulatto to being black. She was half black.
So mulatto was actually like a government term at some point.
Right. It's a name for a black person who was half black and half white. You put down mulatto. You didn't put down black.
Well, because people say now that it's a derogatory term and we shouldn't use it, etc. So
well, it was on certain people's birth certificates. I mean, my Census Bureau, my grandmother, not my grandmother was mulatto, and I looked it all the way back. And then later on, before she died, they switched her to black, but she was mulatto. So just think about if you mulatto, you probably leverage that. I'm mulatto. I'm not black. Like, you know, how they do now.
Exactly.
You know, you use whatever can get you safe. That's why a lot of light-skinned and black people passed. They passed.
Can I ask you guys another question if I'm not intruding? You know, here I am in Los Angeles. I'm by the Faith Dome, and the Faith Dome is also doubling as a COVID-19 testing center. And over the last few weeks,
now where's the Faith Dome? I'm a refugee in Nevada.
Right there, it's on Vermont, between Florence and Manchester. The Faith.
That's not Faith. Now, is that connected to Faithful Central?
The Crenshaw Christian Center.
Crenshaw. Okay,
Fred
that's
Price.
Bishop.
Yeah, Fred Price. Okay, and so they're using their parking lot as a kind of testing center, and the line was large. The line was long before Thanksgiving, but now the line is even longer. And so, you know, I just want to know what you guys think about, you know, this drive for people to get tested for COVID, because I think that's what it is. I don't know if it was tied to, if you want to get on an airplane to see your family, you got to have a test that shows you're negative. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but it looks like people are feeling like they got to get tested. And I'm seeing that line outside on Vermont in LA get longer and longer as the holiday season progresses. Do you guys think that the test is a farce? Do you guys think that, you know, are they, when they stick the Q-tip up your nose, are they giving it to you? Or does the shit not exist at all? You know, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but I just want to put the question to the panel.
Shirley, you want to go first?
I'll go first. So I grew up at Crenshaw Christian Center when it was on Crenshaw. Okay. Beverly Ann Crawford was my Sunday school teacher. Billy Ingram was my Sunday school teacher. I grew up with some very powerful word teachers. Right. I watched when Billy became ordained, and with his first wife, Marguerite, and his children called me aunt. Matter of fact, I was with them in Georgia because they're my nieces and nephew. And so that tells me how close to the lair I am. My mother was best friends with Fred Price's mother, and my mother spoke at Fred Price's mother's funeral. Wow. So I go all the way back to Angela, his first daughters. I was at her wedding when I was a young girl, when I was really, really young. So let me see if I can answer your question and be politically correct, because I love my home church. I'm very disappointed in my home church, and they know that. And I've expressed that to them. I've sat down with Price Jr., who has somewhat limited power because there's people behind him. Because he's the younger Price, he is subject to a lot of seizures. And right now they're suffering right now because half of that church is empty. So for those who've never been to the Faith Dome is the 10,000 seat sanctuary that has now a black veil that cuts it in half and is moving forward, which means it's only maybe 1/4 of it being used compared to its latter day. There's no blacks in California. We're down to 6%. And that's a big problem. And a lot of those old church people are very hardcore Democrats. So when I would come in there, they knew who I was, because a lot of them remember me as a young girl in the church. And they also know me as well as a Trump supporter and a Republican. So that doesn't vet very well with a lot of them. But to align political policies and Christianity, I think is out of line. I don't think the church should get involved, even with COVID. Because if you're a person of faith and the scriptures say God is not giving you the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. If you're a person of faith, you're going to stand on God's word for your health. but you're not going to perpetuate fear upon your people. And what you're telling your people at your church is get tested just in case. And so they're purposely, like, every time you see them, Black people are the guinea pigs. Remember, Black people were used in the past. You remember, what was it?
Tuskegee.
Thank you. Tuskegee and all of that.
Absolutely.
And so now Black people are the new guinea pigs for COVID-19. I told you Trump gave $8 billion to Native Americans. He didn't give us
and
nothing.
Also Henrietta Lacks.
Yes, what they did to that woman. They mangled her body and everything. And so now you got Christian Black churches like Crenshaw, who I was very disappointed when they let Eric Garcetti speak out in the front and acknowledge,
he was giving the press conference.
Yes, you remember that?
Summer.
I was pissed. Yep. I went off on the church online.
I was on Channel 7.
I swear, Garcetti is useless.
Oh my God.
Garcetti is absolutely useless.
You know, and he's gay. And he's gay. So he's going to promote the LGBT, ABCFG people.
That's a prime candidate that utilized the Dominion voting process. That's literally, if they had used Dominion, they would use it on his candidacy. It's ridiculous because the only thing he do is LGBTQ and help the rats keep infesting downtown LA.
Exactly. As far as COVID is concerned, I don't believe any bit of it. I don't believe there is a COVID-19. I don't believe that there is a test. I don't believe any of it. This is a psychological operation, just like HIV. I've talked about this on my channel before, and my clue number one is that Dr. Fauci is responsible for creating HIV when the people wanted an answer for where does AIDS come from? Where does this syndrome, an autoimmune deficiency syndrome, where is it coming from? And well, it's your lifestyle. It couldn't possibly be my lifestyle. So to pacify the gay community, they came up with HIV. Dr. Fauci then found a way to get money off of it and testing people and giving them a chemotherapy pill called AZT. Okay, so if I can get a whole bunch of people to come in for the test, then I can give them a positive test. And then once you got a positive test, I can give you a cure. And when you go into a clinic, first thing they do is give you a questionnaire where they ask you about your sexual history. Well, if you have a test that's going to tell somebody whether or not they have HIV in 10 minutes, what the hell does it matter how many sexual partners that they have had? They give you the questionnaire so they can find out about your experiences, your sexual experiences, etc., because that tells them how likely you are to believe a positive diagnosis, because the psychology behind it, and a lot of the documentaries and research that has been done on this has been taken down off of YouTube, okay? But one of the things that we're saying is that, especially back in the 80s and 90s, people were so guilty about being gay, going to San Francisco, hanging out in bathhouses, taking poppers, doing drugs and antibiotics all day long, which is how you got those GRIDS, gay immune deficiency syndrome, okay? So these people demanded a cure. And the cure that they demanded was AZT, and AZT wiped their asses out quick. Okay, and so that's essentially this is AZT, HIV, COVID is the remix. Dr. Fauci is at the helm of this COVID shit, just like he was at the helm of the HIV thing. So if he was dishonest and he was a liar and a manipulator and using psychological games and warfare, so first they used after they got through using the gay community as guinea pigs, which so many people died very quickly. They was like, wait a minute, we're trying to make customers. We can't kill our customers. We need to make a drug, a lighter form that is going to probably create some coexisting health issues, right? Because this is all about this medical, the medical industry needs customers. That's why they don't want you eating healthy. That's why they're feeding you poison so they can create customers. Yeah, okay, so what they did was everybody got everybody come out of here and take these tests. And then once they saw that the gay community was accepting their diagnosis, right? But then the medication was killing them. They found a milder medication and then said, now let's try this on another population that is more likely to believe it, that has less support. Okay, so when somebody who has been estranged from their family, when a gay person in the 80s or 90s is estranged from their family, they end up in the hospital for whatever reason, they're less likely to have mom, dad, sister, brother, auntie, people who love and care them standing there and watching over the doctors. And then people you've been partying in the club with all day long, they're not going to show up to refer you in the hospital. So who's another population who has a behavior that is participates in risky behavior and doesn't have familial support? Black folks. And how are we going to sell this? Hey, Magic Johnson. Okay, so Magic Johnson takes this as an endorsement deal and says, hey, I have HIV, but look at me, I can still play basketball. I'm still healthy, and you can survive with it too. So it looked the same propaganda you got over HIV, and maybe some people are too young to remember, but the very same propaganda from HIV is what they're using on COVID, damn near word for word. Hey, you might look healthy and asymptomatic, but you can still have it. So you need to come and get tested to make sure that you're not infecting people. You know, the healthy person is the is the predator. The healthy person is the monster. So that we can convince everybody, regardless of how healthy you are, how old you are, what your experiences in life are. We want to convince you to come in and to take this test. Okay, and here's the other similarity. The HIV exams never tested for an actual isolated HIV virus. They always tested for antibodies. Now, any other time antibodies in presence means that your body came and fought something off. But with HIV, the remix, science actual rules of science doesn't apply anymore. And these scientists, especially, you know, in our biology classes, chemistry, whatever, they made it a point to tell us the scientific method is we have to test these things. It has to be true every time in order for it to become a law. That's the difference between a scientific fact and a scientific theory. But when it comes to HIV and Dr. Fauci, the government all got together and decided we're going to throw all that shit out the window. And now all of a sudden antibodies means that you have a virus. This is the same thing that they're testing for with COVID. It's a test for some type of antibody. They have not isolated an actual COVID virus.
Okay. Kiki, I take all of that to heart. And so I guess the next question I would like to ask is, do you think they're going to force the vaccine on the population?
They don't want to. They want people to willingly come in and take it because watch this.
Before you go on, I feel like if they force the vaccine, everybody's going to respond like, fuck that. You ain't putting no needle in my arm.
Check this out.
I feel like the population still feels enough to be like, nah, fuck that. You ain't putting that shit in my arm. I'm sorry if I'm cursing.
No, I have no political correct. No, there is no political correctness whatsoever on this show.
But you know, I feel like, you know, if they say, oh, you can't go back to work, or you can't get on a plane, or you can't do this unless you get the fucking shot, that would cause disruption.
Check this out. They don't even have to do that. Here's the problem. This is the scary part. They don't have to give you the vaccine to infect you because vaccines shed for 14 days. Right. So when you go and take a measles vaccine, and if you have a live virus, because they do it like Russian roulette. When you vaccinate your kids, it's Russian roulette. Some of them got live virus in it, some of them don't. They have to keep these diseases in play so they have an excuse to keep inoculating people against them. Okay, so everybody gonna get their kids shots before school and then go to Disneyland, and then you got a live virus and you passing out the measles to people or whatever, to people who haven't even been vaccinated. So that's what's getting ready to happen. All of the liberals gonna go voluntarily take their ass over there to get it, and then you gonna be in Walmart minding your own business, and these people walking around live. For real.
So let me give you part two of this one. What I believe is you're gonna have a rise of a revolution. There are people in this country who ain't buying all this bullshit. Okay. So because we're from California and we live in La La Land and we deal with the media, we deal with Hollywood, and we deal with a lot of local influencement of that guideline, especially on the West Coast. Let's say West Coast, not just say California, let's say West Coast. The rest of the country, when I'm in Georgia or if I'm in Texas or Arkansas or Mississippi, they don't have that mindset. They are truly America first. Some of these states are hardcore America first. They ain't taking that shit. That's why they believe in the right to bear arms. That's why you see all gun stores being emptied, all guns as far as people trying to get bullets being taken down, because they are ready for a revolution. You about to see a revolution.
Shirley, if I can pause you for 1 second and just add this aside and let you go on. Like, I'm hearing of Black people saying they can't get their dialysis unless they get the test and the vaccine when it comes. You know, like how do we make sense of that?
People
you can't
are still
get your
getting
dialysis treatment unless you get, you can't visit the hospital unless you get the vaccine.
Because I agree with you, Shirley, that there might be a revolution, but it's going to take for people to take the vaccine and get sick and people to start falling out for real. They didn't clear these hospitals out and they've left them cleared out because the people are going to get sick for real. Now, Trump, this vaccine, the interesting part is this is Trump's vaccine that's been expedited. So Trump there might be a placebo. It might be maybe that because naturally it takes a lot longer. Right. Normally it takes a lot longer to get a vaccine in play. Maybe he just got to jump on getting something in play before they can give us what they wanted to give us. I don't know. But I would like to know where we could even get that information. What is in it? They never want to tell you, well, what's in this vaccine? What's in it?
So Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson are the leading movement on this COVID-19 vaccine. But keep in mind, vaccine is going to be allocated and implemented to people who are on the last dead breath. It's not going to be allocated to people who are healthy or even.
Yes, it is. That's what vaccines is for healthy people.
Yeah, I understand that.
But they're going to test it.
They're going to test it on the people who are hurting first. People who have it are going to be tested.
They're saying that the vaccine should go to healthcare workers first.
That's right.
Okay, and the last
and
population, they're saying that the last population to get it will be school-age children. And it goes from healthcare workers, frontline workers, all the way down to your 5-year-old kid. They'll get it last.
Let me tell you, if you're in California and you're Black, please get out. Everybody trying to get everybody out. I'm making my
I'm only going to be in Cali for 2 years. I'm only going to be in Cali for 2 years. I'm going to do my transfer to Miami and shit.
Get out.
I could be able to have Florida.
No, but this is a global pandemic.
I know it's a global pandemic,
but it's safe to stay based.
Go to Greenland.
I agree with you. It's safe to stay based. It's whoever that's governor and that be able to have it when it comes to
that's the point I'm making.
The actual protocols. Because Gavin Newsom, he out here itchy bone kicking and chilling at dinners and parties without no mask.
Newsom is eating sushi and filet mignon with his super spreader event having ass.
He's gonna put you in jail for having a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
Bullshit. Excuse me.
No, I totally concur, Shirley.
Look, I don't want to eat with relatives either. Anyway, okay.
You don't want to eat with relatives because the conversation is going to be like, who you voted for?
Exactly. I don't want to eat with liberals. You know what? Going forward, maybe we should start doing like a conservative Thanksgiving or something so we can eat and talk politics without having to listen to
I agree with you on that. It's frustrating with family because really, to be honest, Black people is really conservative, but they don't want to admit to it because when you talk about LGBTQ, they ain't for it. When it comes to immigration, they ain't for it.
No.
When it comes to family, they ain't for it. When it comes to religion, they ain't for it. No, when it comes to anti-religion, they ain't for it.
Well, here's the thing about programming, and they don't call it programming for nothing. Now you can see the brainwashing. Brainwashing has triggers. Think of like Pavlov's dog, where every time they hear the bell, then they know it's time to eat. Every time they hear Trump, they think about racism because that is what the media has spent all their time programming them. And their sigil magic, you got all of those spinning things. You watch the news and you got stuff spinning and it's music being played. There's subliminal messages and all throughout it in order to program you. Now, the stronger your mind is, everybody doesn't sit into what's called your beta brainwave state, where you're basically like on autopilot. Like when you're driving, say you go to a party, get lit, and then you're at home like, I don't even remember how I got there, because you're on your that's your beta subconscious mind that knows where you're going and what to do. That's what they're always trying to tap into. When you watch a movie, they want you to suspend reality and get into that. So the stronger your mind is and the more aware you are of what's happening, we know the media is trying to brainwash us. So we're looking for it. We're kind of skeptical. But people who are very trusting of the media or very trusting of certain people, then they let those defenses down, and that allows them to hook up into that subconscious mind. So like you said, Black people are conservative, and don't think that the media, Hollywood doesn't know that. Hollywood knows that. That's why
I agree with you. To be honest, everything. Oh, my bad.
Oh, I'm just in the last sentence. Okay. That's why they focus so much on Trump is racist, Trump is racist, Trump is racist, Trump. They're not even telling you what he's doing that's so racist, but they just keep saying Trump is racist because they know that it's going to get an emotional response tied to a whole lot of other programming that they have been doing. And notice the older people are and the more programming that they have been subject to over the years.
The boomers is gone. The boomers is gone. The boomers is gone. Like, I do agree with Kiki on that aspect. To be honest, the black men that I have talked to and everything, it was pretty much see the understanding of what populism do and what populism can benefit black people and everything, because it's nation first. You know, it is on the nationalist agenda, but it still be able to benefit us. Because when it's on a globalist aspect, it's pretty much getting the Indians, getting the Chinese, the Koreans, the Filipinos to be able to do the jobs that really black youth should be doing. Mm-hmm. You know, they utilize the cheap labor.
Keep in mind, though,
to be honest, black youth need to be doing.
Keep in mind that the globalist ultimate agenda is depopulation for whatever reason.
That too.
So although these different groups may feel empowered right now, they're only empowered because they are participating with this regime like robots. That's why they empower. But the ultimate plan is to get rid of them too.
Yeah, exactly. Because really, to be honest, it's about cheap labor. Because, you know, me personally, I am a business owner. I do run e-commerce stores, and I do be able to have a ability to be able to make it on a capitalist, populist society. You know, I make money under Trump. You know, I ain't necessarily disagreeing on that, but I know that aspects of globalism is to utilize cheap labor over black labor.
That's part of it. The other part of it is just they talk about the environment. That's a very key part of this. If you guys have noticed, a lot of
gas tax scam.
A lot of them have been going, oh, look at the air. Look, there's no more pollution. Look how clear. Look, I can see the moon. I can see Alaska from my house, or Russia, or whatever. Sarah Palin. I can see Russia from my house, right? Now because because these dirty, disgusting humans are in the house, you know. So you can't the tech oligarchs, okay, these nerds who couldn't get none in high school, the girls didn't like them. They like to keep everything on the internet. They want us in the house, working in the house. They are anti-socialization because they have never been able to socialize with people and make friends or get attention and that type of stuff. Okay. And so they are anti-people. Not anti-pollution, not anti-global warming. No, they're anti-humans and human interaction. Okay,
and that falls right in the same category as anti-American. I want to before you guys pivot to go away from. I want to go back to what Kiki said, and I really want this to penetrate when she talked about subliminal messaging. I mean, I didn't jump in fast enough, but I really want you to understand. That's why I said when black people don't read and they don't understand. I mean, Kiki is so smart. She gives a lot of strong information. Please make sure you subscribe and click the like button if you guys are enjoying this video.
I'm subbing, Kiki. This is my first video. I'm sub.
So make sure that you subscribe. Thank you, brother, for subscribing and liking the videos if you're watching, however you're watching this platform. I wanted to tell you also, Kiki talked about subliminal message. I talk about neurological programming, kinetics. So they know how to tap into your kinetics. Black people are very emotional and they're loyal to a certain extent. They're too loyal. That boomer generation's loyal just because, for no just reason. And this new generation should question anything brought to their attention. But listen to what Kiki is saying. If you are awoke, every time you post, do you notice on Facebook and Twitter now, if it has to deal with anything political, they'll let you know, well, that article is old. Why are you reposting that? This needs to be verified. This needs to be fact checked before you post it up here. See, they're questioning your validity of understanding how you dissect what was true, and they're telling you it may not be true, which makes you re-justify yourself. What Kiki has just said is important. You have to still keep your strong mind. Notice you use that word. That's another thing that she said. You need to have a strong mind to stand your own ground, do your own homework. You can fact check all of us on this video today, and you will find out we are legitimate Negroes who are on here trying to wake you other Negroes across the country, especially you white colonist people, because this is your country you given to these foreign people, and now you about to have a Camilla wannabe Black Harris, who's a daughter of an Indian woman, not a Black woman, claiming she's going to be vice president, waiting for Biden to kill over at 78 years old so she can be the first immigrant woman who becomes president of the United States. Then it's a wrap.
Well, Miss Shirley, I had Indian people that pretty much said to me in front of my face in real life, saying that, you know, Kamala Harris is the most Indian, pro-Indian type vice president. So, you know, they're going to do the same situation how they did with Reagan. You know, when Reagan go to sleep. So really when Biden go to sleep, they pretty much do their thing. You know, they do the visas, they do the executive orders. They'll be able to figure out how can they be able to do the underhanded shit. That's how they did with Reagan. Because the same thing when Reagan went to sleep, Poppy Bush was doing his work. Same thing with Kamala.
Exactly. So let me give you a little heads up on Camilla wannabe Black Harris Indian and how India's ran. India's ran on the caste system, C-A-S-T or C-A-S-E-T. Look up the caste system. I'm spelling it wrong. The caste system is a system in India where the poor people are always poor. And if you're born poor, you always stay poor. It's not like democracy in America. And if you're born poor in America, you have an opportunity to become a capitalist and leverage yourself up and rise to great occasions for you. But in other countries, they're under the caste system. In the biblical times, they were under the caste system. So she comes from a country of people and a kinship of people who were taught, look it up, the caste system. That system basically has to have a lower class people. When she came here, she realized she came out of the caste system. She identified who were the lower class system people, but the systems that were in place for the lower class, which were us, majority immigrants at that time were Black people, we didn't utilize them. So now people like her took advantage of them, and she went to colleges and say she's one of us, but she knows she's not. And she'll utilize that power of identifying her Indian at the right time. Right now, she has to leverage that for this campaign. But she is out of the caste system. Look that up.
But Miss Shirley, you know, you got a lot of HBCU women type pretty much claiming Kamala and shit, and pretty much saying we gotta win. Even though when I get on Twitter and pretty much say that she don't identify because she had Caucasian on her application. She didn't have Black American.
You know, I went to an HBCU, and I can honestly say that the people that I met there are some of the dumbest Black folks that I ever have met in my life in terms of having any type of discernment or intelligence. No, I went to Hampton. Hold up now.
Wait a minute, I went to Howard.
I went to Hampton, the real HU. Okay, now don't start it down.
All right, don't get it started.
Don't start nothing be done.
We will overtake the call arguing this. No, but you know, Shirley, I hear what you're talking about with that.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm sorry. Finish
what she was saying with like that Brahmin to the Dalit. You know, the Dalit is the sewer scrapers, and the Brahmins are like the ones who get to live at the top of society. But go ahead, Kiki. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that a lot of the kids that I went to school with are very much sheltered. You know, they didn't necessarily even pick their own college. Their parents, you know, it's more of a legacy mentality, you know, and so they didn't really make a lot of decisions.
I don't know if I trust a 17-year-old to pick a college for himself or herself either.
Well, personally,
I think I pushed my daughter or my son to a college I picked for them before I let them go to Berkeley.
Well, I'm 24. And everything, so I'm going to University of Miami just to be able to avoid California communism.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want my kid fresh out of high school saying I want to go to Berkeley and not being their top choice, but I was hearing about the other options.
Well, I grew up kind of in a unique kind of way anyway. You know, I was raised with my dad, a lot of different shit. Okay, so I always had an independent type of mentality. And my parents just let me do whatever the hell I want. I don't know if it's because they trusted me or they were being negligent. Quite frankly, I can't even answer that question. But when but when I got to school, that was, I'm like, hey, turn up, where the party at? They was calling their parents like, Mom, it's this party going on tonight. I want to know if I can get. I'm like, yo, your mama's not here. It's Wednesday. We finna turn up. You know what I'm saying? I say all that to say that they left college, went back home to mommy and daddy where it was comfortable, found a nice corporate job, and easily there's a cushion, amongst the Black elite or bourgeoisie. There's a lot of cushioning. There's a lot of nepotism, especially if you are somebody is Black and Greek. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much of your socialization on a Black campus and getting along with people has to do with you following along with the crowd. Like, Black people don't like nobody to be no individual. And going to a white school, I went to a school with kids that had money. They never cared about what I had on. But let me go to the ghetto where ain't nobody got no money, and they worried about what kind of shoes you got on, what you got on, how you're dressed. But you have to conform in the Black community, or else you got to argue and fuss and fight. Absolutely. So being conditioned like that over years, I think that's why so many Black college students, like you were saying, are supporting Kamala. That was my whole point.
Okay, so I think that segues into an excellent new wave of conversation. What do you guys think about this student loan forgiveness thing?
Before you go into student loan, I just want to add something. Hold on.
I'm in college right now.
Before you go
I'm in
into
college
student
right now.
loan, listen, you have one thing you guys didn't mention is the historical Black colleges are taking on more immigrants and illegal immigrants into their colleges because of CBC, because of the Congressional Black Caucus, and they're talking about historically Black. They are getting full scholarships. And they are circumventing ADOS students. So if you go to a historical Black college, you're going to be surprised. You ain't going to see more Black people. You're going to see more of them than us in the future. And that's coming.
But if I'm an ADOS student who went to an HBCU, and let's say I have, conservatively speaking, I have $40,000 worth of debt. I know the student loan debt can get much higher than that, especially if you go to graduate school, especially if you go to a white private school.
I'm expecting 60 G's on my debt.
These are the numbers, they say average student loan debt. However, we can trust those or not. But let's say the number is, I have $40,000 of student loan debt. It might be double that, it might be triple that. But for the sake of conversation, I have $40,000 worth of student loan debt for my bachelor's degree in communications. Okay. Should the United States government forgive that? Or, should I go out there and work at Starbucks and figure it out and ask my mama to let me stay? Or, what can I do? What do you
really,
think my recourse
college debt is
should my recourse be rather that I rely on myself, pull myself up on my bootstraps type kind of thing? Or should I be looking for?
Can I say this, Wilhelm?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I respect your opinion, but when it comes to the situation like that, it's really specifically on what the major is. Like, my major is
that's why I said
it's real estate management. Like, my major is real estate management, because I know real estate is going to be resilient no matter if I'm in residential or commercial or franchises. But when it comes to the aspects like that, everything, if you're going to rely on the state to be able to clear the debt, it's really a political position. It's really to be able to get votes. It's not necessarily to be able to get shit done. If I be able to have it where,
I'm paying for your vote.
It's a campaign. It's a campaign. Like, if I be able to run for president in 2040 and to be able to say, I'm trying to clear up $2.2 trillion in college debt, I'm going to get the young vote.
So, Jonathan, let me ask you a question. You're getting a degree in real estate?
Yes, Miss Shirley.
Why?
Miss Shirley, well, for one thing, I know and understand real estate, and plus I got people that I know that I do real estate deals that I get money in real life. Me personally, I'm just leveraging my my refund money in college, and I'm pretty much pulling my money in other opportunities because I know dudes that's in Kentucky that I found a property that's $40,000. I put $3,000, and I'm cash flowing $600 a month in my pocket every month.
Okay, so you have to go to college for that?
No, I don't have to go to college for that.
No, but he's saying he's flipping his refund money, and see, that's something else we got to talk about, because as other communities have generational wealth, and they've got all these other grants and all this other type of stuff, the only loan that a young Black person can get is to go to school.
Yes, I'm leveraging it, Miss Shirley, because I do agree with you, Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley, I've been on Miss Shirley panel, but I'm just flipping my refund money. I know what I'm going to do with it.
I think flipping your money is a very smart thing. So let me tell you my history. I became a licensed realtor in 1996. So my ass is a little old, okay? I graduated from USC Financial Real Estate Development. It was a program designed after the riots to interact urban communities with people who were not able to get degrees at that time. That program is still in place. You can look it up. It's called the Stan Ross program. It's a master's program that is
Can you put it in the private chat, Miss Shirley? Because I'm a subscriber to you, Miss Shirley.
So if you want to email me, my email is shirleyhussar@gmail.com. Anybody can email me. It's shirleyhussar@gmail. I served on that board for 10 years. It's the Stan Ross development program, which teaches you about real estate development. You do not need to go to college to become a investor or one that turns over property. The best way, this is going to sound really crazy, I'm telling you, this is years of experience. If I could go back in time, I would have done this faster. The best way is to study Rich Dad, Poor Dad and play that game. Play the game Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The classic game is free online, and it will teach you that you need to learn about leveraging. You take your money and you start off, if you can't buy little houses, you buy a stock, and you let that stock grow so that you can have that money to flip it into a house. For example, last year I bought a property in Texas. I paid $15. I rehabbed it. I dumped about $40 into it, and I flipped it for $89. Okay, so I've been flipping and buying a long time, but flipping and buying will not make you wealthy. You need residual income. The residual income means that you need to invest in a product that brings a cash flow. That means that we should all be looking into Black franchises. The SBA loans right now are vital. You've got income coming in. You got decent credit. If you don't have good credit, find someone that does. Add them on to an LLC. If you want to get an LLC, go to Zim, Z-I-M Business. Go to Zim Business and open up an LLC. Don't do it in California. Do it in maybe like a state like Texas or Nevada, or you could do it in Tennessee.
Tax in Nevada, so I do my LLCs all in Nevada.
California still regulates Nevada. That's the only question part. But in Texas, there's no income tax. So if you were to finally migrate somewhere in the South, a lot of those states, certain states have no income tax. That's why they're a little bit better from the West Coast, and they get more into the central area. So my advice to you is, you're going to do what you want to do, but I would study the Rich Dad, Poor Dad format, which means that you take your cash. Yes, you're flipping, but once you get a certain amount of cash, you need to buy rental properties, commercial properties, and let those pay you income, and then you need to get into some type of franchise. I
agree.
And then buy a franchise with people. Some franchises start as low as $50,000 and $40,000. So some of you guys, for example, if you want residual income, they're not cheap. For example, some of you, instead of buying a house, you should buy a duplex. That way you live in one side and you rent out the other, and it pays your rent. Some of you guys need to look into buying a franchise, so at least you creating your own job and your own money. You are.
I want a Zaxby's down south. Like, I agree with Miss Shirley, but I want a Zaxby's down south. I want a Popeyes down south. I want a Sonic's down south, because I agree with Miss Shirley and everything. Residual income is the key.
On the original question, though, about student loans, previous generations went to school for a whole lot cheaper.
Yes.
The fact that we are going to school now, Hampton University cost me $21,000 a semester on campus, $15,000 a semester off campus. Then I turned around and went to grad school. I owe damn near $200,000 worth of student loans.
But why do you need to go to college when you can make over $100,000 a year? I'm not downing college. I'm just saying because
I'm not saying any of that. But the question was about should they be forgiving?
Should the loans be forgiven?
Yeah,
and the
they should.
They should be forgiven because of the astronomical. It's criminal what they have charged us to get an education, and coincidentally, soon as it was okay for Black people to integrate these schools, the damn price shot up. Is that a coincidence?
I
so
agree,
basically,
but a lot of
paying.
My bad. Well, a lot of the times when it comes to clearing clearing the debt of college opportunities, it become a liberal standpoint. A lot of libertarians and conservatives
never want to give anything up, but that's why conservatives are in the position that they are in right now. Because my question to them is, well, where the hell was your antennas at when the damn college education went up so freaking high?
Because a lot of conservatives is beyond that Ronald Reagan type of shit. It's party over country, not country over party type aspect. So because when I do talk to conservatives about the situation, they don't want to clear the debt. They just want to say, well, it's your fault for choosing the major. It's pretty much
No. You should be able to go to school for what you want, because college is not just about that education. But for some people, it is a way to get out of your... See, now let's separate and talk about class. I had to get to college because I need to get the fuck up off of the east side now. Yeah. Not when I come up with an idea. I ain't got time to flip no fucking houses. If I sit around right here, one of these niggas is gonna get me pregnant and I'm gonna be poverty for the rest of my fucking life. I gotta get out of here today. And not only do I gotta get out of here, I went and toured. I got into every Cal State and UC school I looked at. When I went to Cal State San Diego's campus and I seen this black guy walking across, he was so cute and smiling and everything. I was like, ooh, yeah. And then this white girl came bouncing blonde up and they locked arms and started skipping across the campus. I said, this tour is over. We go home. I'm taking my ass to HBCU. I ain't gonna do this shit. I ain't gonna do that.
I agree. I was actually the aspects of me getting caught up of a lily white girl and me and her just looking around and shit, and the black women inside like, you messing up. You messing up. So
well,
I agree on that.
The reason that I asked that question, the reason that I asked that question about student loan forgiveness was because I read an article today that said if they were to go ahead and forgive student loan debt, it would create a wider rift between the rich and the poor, or the middle class and the working class.
It would.
It was saying
even among black
people. Hold on, let me just. I'm going to explain. I'll open it up. It was saying that, even if you come from the hood, if you got the student loans to go to Yale or UCLA or wherever you went, and they forgave it, that would put you so much more ahead of the niggas that you grew up next to, that you would be in a wider gap. You would widen the gap.
Wait. That's the whole point of me going to college, was to widen the gap between me and them niggas. I went to school and I'm still sick with them.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people think because what the article was saying was, you're forgiving student loan debt, but you're not forgiving, my Dodge Charger debt, or my whatever debt I've taken.
Your Dodge Charger is not $190,000.
Exactly.
No, because I could have leveraged that into some real estate, something that's $500,000.
What they're saying is the Democrats are likely to try and explore this option for you. Are you going to be okay with the Democrats saying, all right, we'll pay you off to become a part of the elite now. We'll pay off your student loan debt, and now you get to be upper middle class because you no longer have student loan debt. But all those people that you wanted to be Democrats with you or vote Democrat with you, they're not going to get any payoff.
So look at that. So this just proves everything that we have been saying about them, because the whole point of this is what they don't want, is a meritocracy. This just proves that they have done everything that they could, and that they made college expensive to keep Black people who decided to learn how to read on the bottom, because not everybody who goes and gets a college education is able to turn that into something lucrative. Okay. Right. Furthermore, like you were saying, it matters what major you're taking, but nobody told it. There was no such word as STEM. That's some new shit. When I was in high school, wasn't no STEM. with no STEM fields, with nobody trying to educate, with no computer programming.
Yeah,
People were it was a joke. Exactly. Okay, so now you're telling me that you don't want to forgive my overextended student loan debt that you all decided. My grandfather went to UCLA for $78 a semester. So ever since I heard that shit, I've been wanting my money back. Okay, so now you're telling me you can't forgive my debt because that would open the gap, and I wouldn't be. It would take me too far away from these people who I specifically went to college and got educated to get the fuck away from in the first place. That's my always.
Yeah. That's what really. Because I agree with both William and also Kiki on this one. Because me personally, I went to college just to be able to get away from the hood aspect.
Exactly.
Here in California and everything, everything is either gang banging or you in a square life. I'm in a square life right now. I'm just be able to get away from the gang banging, rapping aspect, the underground world. I'm just trying to be really.
And to be a professional. And so watch this. When
the hookah lounge.
when you are black, okay, listen, I don't just have some random ass degree in some bullshit, okay? I have a bachelor's degree in media management. My minor was in management. I have a master's degree in professional counseling, okay? My education has not held more weight. My education has not held more weight than whiteness. Okay, I can hear you, whoever that is.
It's Jonathan.
That's Jonathan.
But let me ask you this question: I'm not down in anything that any of y'all are saying, but if we're in 2020, Black people need money right now. They need money, and the due process of education has changed dramatically, especially because COVID-19. Because they're allotting a lot of these money that were allocated towards education to go to these universities, and you're not in the university, or you're part-time in a university, or they're off and on universities. It comes down to Black people want money. If we're going to talk about building wealth for Black people, especially people who have degrees or don't have degrees, what is the next level of finding a way for that? If you're a new generational person, if you're 18, 16, or 14 years old, and you're looking to the future, when I talk to people of that age group, they don't even want to go because they see what all the rest of us went through with all this debt.
Surely, these kids these days are not prepared for you to give them any money. This is why there is a dead rapper every week, because they can't handle no money. They don't know what to do with it. And then you're going to take money into a depressed community full of people who already have this dog eat dog mentality. So this is the other issue now. Once again, classism, and it's like the problem is that we have entrusted Black boule members instead of Black intellectuals to help to disseminate information and resources, etc. But if you cannot go to the hood and hand everybody $100,000 check, you will you won't get to Venezuela faster.
But you're talking about handing out. I'm talking about building self-wealth within yourself. I'm not talking about giving money.
I'm talking about building wealth as an individual. And what I'm saying is this: like somebody said, I ain't paying off your student debt. Okay, well check this out. Statistically, a Black girl from a broken home from South Central is not supposed to even end up with grad school education, according to these people's calculations. Okay, now here I am, more than 3/4 through my doctorate, and it's still gonna cost me a whole nother $10,000. So you mean to tell me, America, there's no grad school grants for a doctoral program. There's no money anywhere. Not for my Black ass. There's none.
Yeah.
So if they were to forgive $50,000 worth of my student loan debt, that would just make it so that I can take out another damn loan to finish the damn third degree.
Exactly. You got to extend your college into college education, because if you're going to be able to clear it off, you got to get a PhD.
But if you also want to bring back
the road to the PhD might cost
if you want to bring this full circle back to the illegal,
exactly, you know it's good. The PhD is going to cost $250,000.
Well, let's Shirley again. She's trying to say something. Sure.
If you want to bring this full circle back to immigrants and illegals, look how the Indians have claimed to be black so they can get scholarships, so they can go to colleges. I mean, this is the problem right now. We're talking about colleges and money, but you also say the subject matter of this video is Kamala wannabe Black Harris, an Indian woman who's not a natural born citizen, who should not be president because her parents aren't Indian, aren't American. These immigrants come here and they purposely put their children in black universities. They purposely say, go to black university. You're like a minority. You'll get more rights than the blacks who it was designed for. So
and black people are so color struck that they openly accept them and let them in their color struck ass sorority, no questions asked. So they can help them treat the little black, the dark skinned black girls like shit. And I watched y'all do it, AK. I can't stand them, AK. I can't stand them. I can't stand them.
Yeah,
that's why you want her in there. Because if she was half Indian, but some kind of way wasn't passing that paper bag test, her ass was, AK. How about that? Yeah. It's got a lot of complexionism going on. And I went to Hampton, that's the bullshit.
So with all that said, fast forward, this is what you're about to have in America, a revolution within white descendants of white Americans are waking up from every aspect. And all we're saying is black people get ready, because it's going to come back to that damn citizenship rights.
Right, and black people, we've been laughing at Karen memes all summer long, but quite frankly, Karen is the last line of defense, honey, because I honestly don't think that black folks is getting ready to bust a grape in a fruit fight. Okay, so at this point, it's going to take for the Karens and whoever, for, like you said, the white Americans to come up out of wherever y'all been hiding with your AR-15s. I don't know what because I don't think that the black community, the majority of the black community, is even aware. They are not even aware of what's happening right now.
Oh, no. I mean, go back to it. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. You got so much depth and you go so fast with that mouth. Go ahead and repeat that again, because you are laying some real cheddar on the cheese. Go ahead.
I don't think that the black community is aware. I think that the Karens and the real white Americans are the last line of defense. And what I love about Karens, what's his name? Tommy, the comedian Tommy. Come on, y'all. Tommy Davidson, Proud Family. Look, he did a stand-up and he was talking about how he said white women are superheroes. You go to that grocery store line and there's only one line open. The line long, only one check window open. Excuse me, where's the manager? This is unacceptable. I have to stand in line. I have a customer. I came here to pay my money. I need more check. I need more lines open, and they gonna open them damn lines. You know what I'm saying? That like Karen is not accepting less than what she deserves. It's something we can all learn from Karen. Okay, and I think that these are the people that we have to get to understand what is really going on as it relates to black people, so they can have that in their artillery. But I don't think that the black community is getting ready to rise up and do shit.
I agree. I really don't. I'm 100% with you. I also want to add, I believe these militia groups that have been hiding in the woods, that have been practicing with their shotguns and loading up their bullets, are gonna say, look, I'm done with this now. Y'all start doing this, we're gonna start marching in the streets. And it ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna be Antifa. It's gonna be that old Southern family that's been hiding in the woods. And the Karens.
When you see when them Proud Boys showed up in DC, it wasn't funny.
Oh, that was a lot of people out there. And when them white people rise up, keep in mind, all you black people, keep your ass at home. Let white America fix itself. Because they throw you out of the bus first. Why don't you be in the front? No, I'm not gonna be in the front. This is a white man's world.
At least this is damn show his country.
Okay.
And y'all ain't. It's like, well, we cousins. I don't know what the rest of y'all.
You're right. And I'm gonna say, look, cousin, I'm not stop being like Trump, talking about the blacks, the Mexicans, the Asians, the Latinos. Oh no, don't put me in that category. Call me cousin. Call me your cousin. The blacks, my cousins, the blacks. That's what you need to start saying. Your cousins, the blacks, because you keep putting me in them category with them people. Them people are immigrants. Exactly. I'm not an immigrant or illegal. I am a commodity.
And that's because because our people have allowed the liberals to put us in a boat with them and have us feeling sorry.
Yes.
This is coming out of this is Hollywood has done this because the Rhymes with News are telling their story on screen and they use everybody else's faces, but it's their story. And that's why we all think that we have the same story. People watch a lot of media. A lot of media.
And don't read.
It has really done a number and don't do no reading. And then look, our teachers were Marxists. We came up under. I've just been really studying a lot of.
Say it again. Say it again. You go
our teachers were Marxists. We were indoctrinated, all of us. They have attempted to indoctrinate all of us. So it's a certain mentality that comes along with that. And that's why we all believe that it's white people against everybody else. No, it is Americans. And this is American country. This is our country. And if you're coming here for a better life, okay, from whatever little shithole you came from, don't come over here trying to tear up my house. Put my shit back like how you found it. It's my house.
Right.
You don't get to come over here and try to turn my house into what you was talking about, going back to talking about how Mexico ran it all the way up to Western. No, come live like you in America. This is a better life for you. Great. Come here and treat it with respect. Don't come and try to tear it up to where it looks like Tijuana, because I don't want to live there. I don't like that shit at all. And certain things like in the school system, that these schools that are heavily populated with mostly immigrant children and their parents are illegals, the parents don't go to the PTA meeting, the parents don't complain about what's happening in the school or fight for their kids' rights because they're afraid of being deported. So that has brought California schools all the way down. I've watched it happen. There are news articles and shit that came out, I don't even want to be graphic, where the teachers was basically molesting the whole damn class. And the parents knew about it, but they weren't saying anything. And the police chief came on TV one day and said, if your kid participated in butt naked, hands up, 7-Up in Mr. So-and-so's second grade class, can you please come out here and say something? We promise we won't deport you. I said, now, and this is why we cannot house your anchor babies. It ain't because we hate you. It ain't because you're an evil person. Nobody ain't saying that. This is just non-functioning. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You're not paying taxes. You got 5 kids, and then you don't even go to the PTA, the school board, or anything and have any type of standard for your children's education because you're just so happy to be in America. And then for all of that, y'all could have gave them a reservation. Oh, no. You don't want to give them a reservation. You want them to come and move into the Black community and turn all of our schools into some damn free ring circus. That's not okay. And then where the Black people going? That's
homeless on the street downtown LA.
Wherever you can get in.
Right.
Where you can go be the minority where you won't have no say. And people say, so I'm gonna go back to my hood and I'm gonna do for my hood. I don't have a hood. My neighborhood that was a Black neighborhood when I was a child is a Mexican neighborhood. Yeah. I don't have no neighborhood minority where you won't have no say. And people say,
and then you're already pushing Black men out the house. So you have these immigrants who are mean to the Black women who still trying to hold the ground. It's not me. One of you guys, Jonathan? I don't know if it's one of you guys. Listen, you also have the fact that these immigrants have come in and Black men are incarcerated. Okay, they're in jail. So now their men ain't incarcerated and they pushing our communities out. No, something that you said is crucial. I want everybody to get what Kiki's saying. When she said these people do not want to assimilate, it is crucial that when you become a U.S. citizen, you deny your citizenship rights of your other country and you make America first. That is not their priority. Many of them do not pledge allegiance. I've watched this as a licensed realtor where I've seen these Indian people and these Armenian people, when they start to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, they don't even pledge anything. They got us programmed into that. They don't want to be aligned with us. Another thing that they do is remittance. Look up that word remittance. They send their money to their country. They're not trying to better the lives of America or their community or pay their taxes the way they should. They'd rather send that over to their country. That is a multi-billion-dollar wealth industry. And America should tax that heavily. Because they are sending millions and billions of dollars to their country and talking about, I got to send money back home. I was in Georgia. Y'all know I was just in Georgia, and I did a public speak in Georgia. And one of the guys who was driving my car, he was an Arab or Armenian, one of those countries. And I said, how did you get here? And he says, oh, I'm here on a student visa. I said, oh, you're a student? He says, oh, no, I'm not a student anymore. I have to work. I have to send money back to my country. I'm not a student, but I want to go back to school. I said, how old are you? I'm 45 years old. How the hell you 45 years old on a student visa here in America, and you got the right to work here, driving Uber, and sending money back to your country? You're not wanting to simulate.
Shirley, my husband questions all these Uber drivers, okay? They getting more than that. They getting their rent paid.
Come on now.
They getting stipends. They getting food
That's
stamps.
all I'm saying.
My family came here with nothing. And I even saw somebody said on Facebook, if I saw immigrants came here with nothing and they were doing better than me and we've been here since for generations, I'd be jealous too. Oh, you got the nerve to be snarky on top of it. So it's like Black people out here thinking it's the Rainbow Coalition and we are all friends and everybody of color versus these white folks. No. These white people is your cousins. This country is yours, it's theirs. The blood is all intermixed and all of that. We have our discrepancies and our issues and we don't always agree and they don't always season their food. But we need to sit down as a family and we need to work it out. Do not let these other folks make you think that you are more of them and you have something in common with them more than you do white Americans, because the fact is that is just not true. And you do not want to live under communism. You don't want to live under socialism, no matter how. And wait, because if it's so hot, then why they fleeing over here anyway? If America's horrible, but it's a better life, then why would you listen to them and try to turn your country into whatever it is that they're fleeing from? That just don't even make no damn sense.
Preach. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying. If we could just wake Black people to understand that much, and the fact that they're trying to simulate you and cast you into their category, and then those people are trying to cast us to below their category. These people think they're better than you. They walk around with their nose snooted up. And I'm like, how do these little people get in this country? And they're small people. These El Salvador,
and how can they not think they're better? How can they not think they're better when you have Black folks out here with no standards for themselves? Where the value system is so damn lacking and depraved.
That's right. That's right.
We shouldn't still be looking at the Megans, the Stallions, and that type of stuff. We should have already grafted that type of mentality and energy out of our community already.
But the problem is that most people are not astute to that and are not awakened to that. So what does this mean? That means we're going to have to watch this historical platform play itself out. We've never seen anything like this in U.S. history, where we are seeing them challenge the Constitution and sitting there and we're challenging the people who are allegedly trying to be president. We're challenging that, and we're challenging the electoral process. The electoral process is corrupt. There's no doubt about that. Everybody agrees about that. But you're not talking about the presidency. We're talking about local levels. How the hell Maxine Waters get 70% of the votes, almost 80% of the votes, and that lady didn't even leave her house?
And that's because Maxine Waters cheated just like Obama and the rest of the Democrats. I will give them that. They're cheating.
Here you have Nancy Pelosi, as old as her ass is, and never leave the house and win.
You think that they cheated for Biden and didn't cheat for Nancy? They have been cheating. But this time it's so egregious and obvious because, like somebody said, Joe Biden couldn't fill a phone booth. And it's true. So now it's just obvious, but they have been cheating. And that's why and the media has been telling us everybody likes this person. You know what I mean? But the fact is that it's just not true. You have the Black celebrities hanging out and making songs and kicking it with Maxine Waters and making it look like Black people support Maxine Waters. But I'm sure if we were to talk to the Black folks in that district, no, they don't. And they probably didn't even vote for her ass. No. And there was the person who ran against her was Black too, but they cheated.
So I'm going to talk to someone in the chat room, talked about Joe Collins. Joe Collins ran against Maxine Waters. Joe Collins didn't even win 30% of the vote. Joe Collins was campaigning his ass off everywhere. He had no shot. She had a war chest of over $55 million, and they were cheating. They use those machines in California. Okay, they're all cheating. So we know they're all cheat, and we're gonna allow these people to take our country with this voter fraud. Y'all better wake up, Black America. You about to see white people rise.
Yes, they was. Cause I saw
Power
Joe
to the
Collins
Karens.
interviews, Joe Collins commercials, and I'm in Studio City at Asabay. It's not Orange County. It's not on the specific district. Because the district that I'm in is with Adam Schiff.
Oh my God.
Because I'm in Studio City.
Right.
It's the Burbank area, Studio City. You dealing with Adam Schiff directly.
Right. Adam Schiff is corrupt. He also covers the Pasadena district. I lived there for many years. So the bottom line is, with this intercorrupted system, this political system, this voter system, Trump's gonna bring it all out. And so you're gonna see a lot of people slinging and fighting, and California is gonna be the one fighting the hardest because they're gonna hold their ground with corruption. And you're gonna see a lot of people rise up from the South. They might even go to California, or you're gonna see that new organization I posted in the chat room. It's called the New California. Watch them people. That's some white people who are not gonna put up with this madness. The New California. .com is to watch.
Yeah, I've been a fan of oh my bad.
I was gonna say Studio City, Hollywood, Burbank. It sounds very liberal, but I can tell you it's not. It's not.
It's not.
Them white folks is some. That's the most racism I ever experienced was in Burbank. I went to the South like, wait a minute, y'all told me that the South was supposed to be racist. It's Burbank.
You know, they did. It's subversive, Kiki. It's a lot of this shit subversive. You know, it's projection. You know, whatever the South do, or whatever the South projects to do, they try to say, "Oh, that's the South. Here is supposed to be liberal. It's supposed to be open arms." But yeah, Burbank and Studio City. You know, you dealing with white folks that's pretty much fed up, but voter fraud pretty much. Cover up the aspect of what's really going on versus what's supposed to be going on.
Right.
So, you know, because me personally, like I know a couple white dudes that, you know, we in the gun range and shit. They pretty much say, what's going on with the Black community? I said, the Black community is not a monolith.
Right.
You know, brothers in Chicago that I know pretty much go for 45, but brothers down south, they have a different aspect. Here in the West Coast, there's a lot of dudes that don't even know what's going on.
So surprisingly enough, the Black folks that are like, I've seen more Black people who come from the hood, especially like there are Black people who got out of jail who did like went to jail under Clinton and them and just now getting out, right? They didn't serve 20-something years in the prison. They get out of jail they like, wait a minute, how come we got arrested and the Mexicans didn't? No, wait a minute. Jose was selling more dope than me, and Jose got 10 McDonald's restaurants.
Jose was a plug. Jose was a plug. Jose was the plug, but Jose has been out here free, got a whole family, owned 10 McDonald's, got an apartment building, and I just did 25 years in prison. I'm confused.
And he's sending money back to Mexico.
And those people definitely did not vote for Kamala Harris. I can guarantee you that. It's more so the Black bourgeois that I went to Hampton with, that's like Kamala Harris, no real life shit. They have not been through nothing real.
I'm telling you, it's all irrelevant. The Constitution is about to rise, and I'm telling you need to go back and pay attention. 13th Amendment, 12th Amendment, and 14th Amendment. Pay attention to those amendments. They're going to be brought up. We're going to the Supreme Court. And I don't care if Black people support it and they can scream all they want. There's going to be a bunch of Blacks who are going to be intellectual, going to come up and they're going to use the law and say, this lady is not a citizen. She's not a natural born because her parents are not natural born. She does not qualify as a president. And then that's going to go trickle down. That's going to trickle down to that Omar lady. It's going to trickle down to that other Mexican woman in New York.
It's going
to trickle down.
And Shirley, you know these people play there. Because really, to be honest, as long as they got the media on their side, To be honest, it's going to be a back and forth type of situation.
No, you're wrong. Let me help you out. This country is founded on. No. Listen. I'm trying to help you. Forget the media.
Okay.
Listen. Don't listen to the media. Pay attention to law. We live under law and order. And so, yes, the media is already doing that. They're providing, like Kiki said earlier, subliminal messages in your head, trying to get you to think and do what they say, trying to instill certain
I went to
actions.
laundromat, and people saw Biden in the face, and they was clapping hands and arms.
I understand
that.
Most people are ignorant. If you don't understand, listen to me. If you don't understand law and how we are governed and how powers that be will set on the premises of law, then you're not going to see how this is going to come about. They're playing 3D chess, and black folks need to be prepared. Now, California is a whole nother animal. And that's why a lot of people want California to be cut off from the United States. But if California starts to reject the federal government, the feds will cut them off. And the California does not want to get the feds cut them off because they need that federal money. California is on the verge of bankruptcy. That's why they want Biden to bail them out. Trump will not bail out California.
Do you remember Governor Schwarzenegger, where he told Obama the government needs to supplement all this money that is costing us to let in these illegals that you will not put out, and you don't want to secure these borders, and they running up in here and we got to pay for them?
I agree, but Arnold was a rhino anyway. But he did bug back against Barack Obama in his 2008, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. That's when 2012. That's when Jerry Brown came in. But Schwarzenegger was a rhino, but he did bug back when it came to Obama. So I do agree on that aspect. But to be honest, it's really the people have to be able to come up and victorious, because Schwarzenegger now trying to act like, he was pro-Obama, when the aspect of what he was talking about, he wasn't pro-Obama. It really is people trying to get some good shine when it comes to the media.
Yeah, they will change the history.
Yes,
and now I think nobody knows history. They will change it up, and it's like if you didn't live through it, you wouldn't know any better. They talk about how great the economy was. Obama fixed the economy. I'm like, what? On what planet?
Exactly, Kiki. Because Schwarzenegger trying to act like he was on the good side of the revisionist history. But he was bucking back on Obama because, to be honest, Obama was talking about the situation of, you need a magical wand to be able to fix the economy.
Right.
This is where we're going to be at. And, if you ain't going to be happy with where we're at right now, then you to be honest, you against me. And, if you against me, I just need to neutralize you. Because, that's how Democrats be operating.
Well, Schwarzenegger went back to Hollywood, so now he has to play ball.
Yes, Schwarzenegger. Yes, he do.
And I really
I see
think
Schwarzenegger in public.
You see all the people. You see all the people who
John Casey,
who the media has taken down in relations. Look, all the people that the media has taken down before this election coming up in terms of the sexual assault allegations, Harvey Weinstein, etc. I remember Harvey Weinstein was donating a whole bunch of money to Hillary Clinton, and then he started getting pissed off because Hillary was doing stupid stuff to compromise her campaign, and he was publicly speaking out about it, like on CNN and stuff. Like, I don't understand why Hillary's doing this. I don't understand. I didn't donate this money. I want a return. You know what I'm saying?
Democrats be doing some stupid shit. I'm telling you, man. Like, people be mad with Democrats. They be on some stupid shit. I agree.
The head of CBS, how he got caught up. A lot of these. I think the chairman of Fox or something like that. And I think that all of that was to put in this part right here in place. Like, it's possible that as whatever they were, that they were not going to be down with this program. They checked their temperature and it wasn't down with this voter fraud taking over a whole presidential election type of thing that they were running. And so they put these sexual allegations on them to get their asses out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's the equivalency of like, okay, we having a source of wars and we gonna randomly drug test rappers and we gonna drug test all the rappers I don't want to show up. You know what I'm saying? That's the equivalent when you looking for sexual assault cases in Hollywood. Like, are you gonna give me a break?
Well, Kiki, you know, they try to do that to be able to weaponize men, you know, highly weird, you know, you got to deal with the aspects of CIA being controlled. So, you know, they really can't get their shit off how they really want it. You know, they got to be, you know, it's really playing, you know, by the dozens.
And really, economically, Hollywood has suffered with the shutdown. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why
I bought MGM stock.
That's probably why the heads of certain studios, etc., was not down with this agenda, because they're like, wait a minute, what's in it for me? You get the president you want, but wait a minute, can't nobody. I'm Harvey Weinstein. I make movies, so you mean to tell me? So we're gonna shut down the movie theaters and do what again?
Right. That's why Gavin Newsom made it in California COVID friendly. Basically said that they're exempt. You know, I'm like, wait a minute, Hollywood actors are exempt? That's some bullshit right there. Yeah, but listen, it's getting late and I can't stay on. I got to go to work tomorrow. Some of us
my baby is
so that's in Hollywood, because I know people personally that's in Hollywood and they talk to me on the phone and they don't even know what's going on because it's on some fake, okay, we're going to be able to do relief. Okay, we're not going to be able to do this specific thing. What y'all got to do is y'all need to really get a contract from Netflix and be able to connect it how you can.
Hold on, Jonathan. Shirley said she going to bed. Let her get her words.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you got anything else you want to add?
I love you, Kiki. I think you are a phenomenal woman. You're one of the smartest people on the planet. You guys make sure you guys continue to follow Kiki on YouTube. Follow her channel, subscribe. Make sure that you click the like button and share this on your other social media platforms. Make sure you guys tweet it. Make sure you share it on Facebook and share it on Facebook groups. Also, your private organizations like all the ADOS people. If you have chapters, please share this video because it is crucial that people understand constitutional rights and constitutional laws, because that's what we started at the beginning of this video talking about. Again, this video is to announce that there is going to be some public backlash and private backlash against Kamala wannabe Black Harris based on the Constitution of the 12th Amendment. And she may even get served. We should be paying close attention to that. I know people are talking about the voter fraud and the election fraud and all these machines. But there's another aspect that you have to keep in mind. White America has put this Constitution in place for a reason, from a federal level and a local state level. So pay attention to that. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Make sure you also subscribe on my page and my channel on YouTube. And I love you guys. And I want to say good night to the Kiki family.
Yeah, please subscribe to Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley is a legit, I've been subscribed to Miss Shirley for at least 2 years.
I love you, Jonathan. I appreciate it.
Shirley, an OG. She started this gangster shit. She been here.
Exactly. Exactly. She started this gangster shit.
And it's the things she gets. Sure.
Yeah, it's the things I get. If y'all don't believe me, go back to my YouTube channel, Hip Hop Republican, on YouTube, and it goes all the way back to 2009 when I started doing YouTube videos. 2009. So, I'm at a point now, I be talking crazy on my channel. Like, I'll call you ignorant in a heartbeat. I ain't got time for your ass.
Miss Shirley, my girl and everything. Because when it comes to the aspect and everything, she always put me on woke and everything.
And you guys put me on woke too. I appreciate everything that you say, because I think we learn and grow together. There's no person that knows everything. I don't know everything. I learned from Kiki. I learned from Jonathan. I learned from everybody. And then we all have to do our homework. But don't let the media and its subliminal influencement control you or your family. Stand strong in what you're telling your family member, because there'll be people who want to argue you down. Don't even argue what you say. Just prove me
barbershop dudes, when I get my hair cut and everything, Shirley, they pretty much saying that it's literally the same propaganda shit. Immigrants, they help the country. they help our GDP. They're the smart ones. I'm the consignment head. We need to be homegrown. Because to be honest, populism and with black folks should be popular.
That's coming from people though that have not had to be competitive. You in a barbershop, you don't have to be competitive to be a barber. That's not a competitive field.
No, but I know barbershops where dudes pretty much say that I understand what you're saying, Jonathan. Keep it.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not no shade to the barbers, but I'm just saying in general,
I get my hair cut.
A lot of this has to do with being competitive. Everybody has not, and Elizabeth Warren, I'm telling you, when it comes to, I learned a lot from her in terms of talking about middle class, and she said, being middle class is an ideology, it's the aspiration to be middle class. I just say that to say, people who are comfortable with where they come from, you comfortable with the hood, it don't bother you. The ghetto bird rattling your house every night don't bother you. The flacolico music at 8 a.m. in the morning don't bother you. The chop shop next door doesn't bother you. People outside with no permit selling pastor tacos all night, that don't bother you. It's okay that your kids can walk to a school in their neighborhood where nobody looks like them and they are treated like the lowest of the lowest, and that's okay. That's all part of the hood, this whole hood shit. That's not who we're talking about. They're not going to be able to grasp the importance of the fabric of America because they're not using America, because they are not working America. They ain't working America. They just kicking it. It's just chilling. And when you kicking it and when you chilling, then this is cool to you. But if you really aspire to have something, and so that's something that we have to keep in mind when we're talking to our relatives, why a lot of them don't understand, because had they been out here working as hard as they could and putting their best foot forward and trying to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, they would have noticed that somebody has lied around here.
I agree, but Kiki, a lot of the times that people can be on point when it comes to situation when you do get them on the questionnaire type of situation where you be like, what's your stance on this? Okay. You agree with me.
Jonathan,
what's your stance on
Jonathan,
that?
I want you to, I
don't mean to cut you off,
Jonathan, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to say this to you. I want you to hear what she was saying, what she was trying to help you understand. And I want you to make sure that you grasp this, is that the quality of the people that you are discussing this with when it comes to the barbershop, they're not in the real world in the sense of competitiveness. So there's no competition within the world, but in the world of hair, that's it. So they're going to always need black people and they can always talk whatever they want, but they're not competing with white people. Black people, black men don't go to white barbershops. Okay?
Amen.
Black men, let me say it again, don't go to white barbershops. They don't go to Asian barbershops. They don't go to Chinese barbershops, whatever, Latino barbershops. They go to black barbers. Listen to what Kiki was saying. They're not in around intellectual or a conversation of people where they're in a competition. We and you are. We're out on the grind. You want to do real estate? I'm doing real estate. White people are competing for the same deals on the table as we are.
The immigrant.
Go ahead, say it, Pinky.
Because with me, we are in agreement. Because really, to be honest, I'm just trying to be able to mobilize.
You said we're all what?
To be able to keep going.
You said we're all what?
There's men.
You said we're in agreement.
Oh, we're in agreement. I didn't hear him. Okay.
We're in a full agreement because y'all understand what's going on. Y'all actually got the lenses that's going on. That's why I respect y'all.
Yeah, but you do too. I mean, you're out there on the grind.
I'm 24 and shit. I'm really going
but don't let your
aspect
age
of when I turn 50 and shit.
That has nothing to do with it. The fact that you are awoke is what matters. That's all that matters. Because don't let people say, well, I'm older, I know better. Then people don't know law. You know law. You're understanding the people who understand rights and privileges.
Exactly.
And you listen to Kiki and to me. You don't let them put that age thing where you're young, you don't know nothing, I've lived my life. Let them go ahead and sing that song and say, but what does the Constitution say? What does the law say?
Because Miss Shirley, we've been on panels before, Miss Shirley.
We have.
When it comes to the aspect of what's going on and shit, I just trying to be able to put some gems on. Because I have to be able to save brothers on that aspect. Like my barber and everything. Specifically, he may not agree on 100%, but he actually understands the bigger picture. And, you know, I might manage to get a boy to be able to understand the aspect that if you're going for immigration shit, you undercutting yourself.
Yeah.
You're undercutting yourself. You pretty much just saying, well, fuck it. Oh, my bad. But you pretty much just saying, well, flip it. You know, they're going to be able to overrun me. I don't really care. You know, they can do what they want. And instead of pretty much be on this aspect of populism where Black men, Black women, Black youth can pretty much be like, nah, it's my opportunity. I ain't gonna let nobody be able to undercut me or replace me. So I have to be able to do the aspect of what Miss Shirley was saying and pretty much just getting people aware of what's going on. So
all we can do is plant seeds.
You know, I'm always going to be a big fan of Miss Shirley and also Miss Green as well, because, you know, these are Black people, Black women especially, that's pretty much on point when it comes to what's going on.
And being from California, we have a more well-rounded understanding of what the intentions are for this entire country, because it already happened to us, what they want to do to the rest of y'all. So it is frustrating. Somebody was talking about earlier, trying to talk to folks in other regions who don't seem to think immigration is that big of a deal or this, that, but they're not experiencing it in the same way, and they think it's a joke. They don't really understand what's up ahead of that for them. So it's like, we trying to let y'all know.
Yeah, because most of my disagreements is on boomers and shit. Because to be honest, boomers is more conservative, but they still toe that line.
I tried to talk to my grandmother. I tried to tell my grandmother that they was sex trafficking the kids. She gonna tell me that's fake news.
You see, they use the same aspect of what Trump pretty much say on a day-to-day. They will use that shit when it's convenient, but when it doesn't
for them,
narrative.
And Trump the one who started the fake news conversation, but you're gonna turn around and tell us when we try to tell you the real news that it's fake news.
but yeah, you know, it's the, you know, cause I gotta deal with family members and shit where I tell you pro-LGBT, they say no. But when it comes to the aspect of what's going on a federal level, they pretty much just be on this hell-bent type shit, TDS type scenario.
You see, y'all got more patience than me. That's why I'm getting too old. Because I curse people out and tell them to keep going. I ain't got no time. I'm not gonna put on. That's why y'all ain't getting no videos. Look, that's why you ain't getting no videos out of me. Because I'm tired of educating ignorant people. I'm not gonna sit back and pander and have conversations with the fools. When they say stupid little stuff like that, I'm like, oh, exit stage left, I'm out. I mean, I'll switch the subject matter. Girl, let's talk about the weather.
That's funny. Granny need to loosen her church wig. That's
I'm
funny.
like, oh, let's switch this subject matter because you're too damn stupid. I'm not going down the route. I'm not going to educate you. I'm not bringing you up to speed. If you don't get it, I'm not going to even argue. I'm not wasting energy.
Watch. You know what? That's why but this white girl that I went to high school with got on Facebook and said that based on the tax bracket that I am in and the amount of money that I have and the benefits that because Trump's tax benefits are actually for wealthy people like myself, I should be voting for him. But I'm voting for Joe Biden to help you people out.
Yeah, that's the arrogance.
Everybody got cussed out that time.
That's the arrogance. Because I was on a panel with somebody from New Orleans. And pretty much, she, you know, to be honest, she a down south conservative that just have TDS. And when I try to be able to tell her the aspects of, you know, lockdowns don't benefit your business, higher taxes don't benefit your businesses, she agreed, but she still was on this hell-bent shit. And I'm like, well, okay.
Look, I'm gonna end this call. I gotta get off this line. Let me say this to you. Jonathan said something earlier, and I want to say encourage the next generation. All y'all sitting at home getting this COVID money. Y'all need to be thinking about how to invest that money. Buy a little house somewhere out of state. Don't buy in California. You go broke. Don't invest in that state.
You go broke easily.
Go somewhere in the South. Follow some videos of people. There's a lot of great YouTube videos. I might do some videos to tell you where you should watch those people. But watch your energy distribution. Do not let your blood pressure go up. Don't argue this case. You ain't got to fight for Trump because white America got to save itself right now. This is a white man's war that's about to erupt. Don't get it twisted.
And they need to fix it.
It is about to erupt. And I say white because they dominate. They set the rule. They open up the floodgates. They allow these immigrants and these illegals in here.
You open the floodgates trying to make sure we didn't get nothing.
I had no choice in that. That didn't even come to vote. That wasn't even on the ballot. That wasn't even a proposition.
We weren't allowed to vote when they set this up.
We didn't put that vote out there. So when white people watch this and call me racist, that's why I don't talk to your ass, because you don't read, white people, and black people don't read. So when you start reading and understanding law and constitutional rights, then you start waking up and realize they have already in California altered the state constitution. So when we're talking about federal constitution, each state has its own constitution, and these vagrants of Democrats and implants, including some of the Republicans, have changed state constitutional rights.
Especially Brian Kemp in Georgia.
So y'all ain't paying attention to none of that because all you're doing is living your life. And then people are knocking down, taking your homes, taking your business, taking your name, and taking your birthright. So if you support Kamala wannabe Black Harris, don't think that white America is going to support Kamala wannabe Black Harris, because they're going to call her out and they're going to call her parents and everybody on the table. And I'm going to sit back with my glass of wine and some popcorn and say, Kiki and Shirley told you so. Don't
Kamala daddy already said his name Bennett and he ain't in it.
He don't want to get deported.
Kiki on phone with you.
All right, Shirley.
Good night.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Miss Shirley.
Good night.
I'm always going to subscribe to you. Salute.
Love you, Jonathan. You're a smart man. Stay on top of your game.
Okay, so that's Shirley Hughes. Sorry. Wait.
So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna stop there. I know I'm still live streaming on my own. I thank you guys for chiming in. Rana, what the hell are you talking about? I'm an agent. Boy, you better go home and hide yourself. I am not an agent. I have been doing this a long time. My name is Shirley Hussar. I am on Hip Hop Republican on YouTube. You'll see those videos way back in 2008. So just to recap what we've been talking about for those who chimed in a little late, there's going to be a class action lawsuit. Get ready. It's coming. I don't post videos that don't make no sense. I'm going to read this to you guys for those who chimed in late. According to the 12th Amendment of the Article of 2 of the United States of the Constitution, Kamala wannabe Black Harris, Kamala Harris is ineligible to be vice president or president of the United States because she is not a natural born citizen. The definition of a natural born citizen includes both parents need to be citizens at the time of person's birth. In her case, her parents were students from another country visiting the United States where they conceived and had her here. I guess they had her here. This lawsuit is designed to stop any candidates and to stop all future ineligible candidates from running for office in the United States. So what does that mean? This is America reset button. Now you pay attention. This is white Americans reset button. I know that sounds racist. I say white America because this country was founded by colonists and the black people came here as commoditized good trades and service, right? We all agree with that. And I've done those shows over in the past. I've told you that. And I've also told you we're not an immigrant. We're not illegal immigrants. They brought us here to build wealth and opportunity for their best interest. Later on, those amendments came into place. Pay attention to the 13th, the 12th, and the 14th Amendment. Now, again, when it comes to the 12th Amendment, they're going to be pressing that at a federal court level, which probably will move to the Supreme Court. And keep in mind that President Trump has appointed 3 judges within this presidency. And that's historical. I don't know if anybody's done that many in their presidency within their first year, because all these people were dying off, or for whatever reason, he was able to get 3. Because you remember when he came in, he got 1. He was coming in, and the Republicans blocked it, and Obama could not pick one of the Supreme Court judges, and Trump did. And then we had another one that fell off the edge or retired, and we got one more in, and then this last lady came in because of Ruth Ginsburg passing. So that's a factor. Also keep in mind that what's that? Clarence Thomas. You remember Biden had claimed him almost to be some kind of racist or sexual offender during his trial when he was trying to become a Supreme Court judge. Don't think Clarence Thomas didn't forget that, or his wife forgot that. I think his wife came into play as well. So he has some grief, and Clarence Thomas apparently is the head of the Supreme Court judges, a black man. So this is all going to unfold and be very interesting. Get your popcorn, your glass of wine, and get ready to see 3D level of chess with Trump, because Trump's people are already pushing the issue of the election fraud, the Dominion machines and all that, as well as outside entities who are questioning that and also suing states from state to state, local level. Remember, there are social media that are supporting subliminal suppression within Black communities and abroad. Do not let your mind or your hearts become suppressed through this process and be distracted. Understand law and order. Read, and question every action and every validity thing that's put out regarding this administration. And when they use the terminology, president-elect, we don't say those terminologies. That's not real. There's no future administration. That's not real, because this election has not been certified, and there's a lot of other things underground that are being questioned. The media likes to drive the narrative of controlling the minds of Americans and abroad. I think there's a new generation that it's not going to be easy to mull over that point, aka take example, the Jonathan young man that's on Kiki Green's channel right now. He's saying, hey, I'm young, but guess what? He's a student, he's awoke. He may not have all the knowledge that I have, or Kiki, he definitely doesn't have that, but he's humble enough to grow and learn. And that's what I want to encourage those who are younger and of that generation. Always be humble enough to learn. But when you hear bullshit and you hear those boomers start talking crazy, you ain't got to pacify them. Watch your own energy distribution. The last thing I want to say to you is something T.G. Jakes said. And he said, intellect versus instinct. Sometimes with Black people, we're so focused on how educated a person is, how well groomed they are, all the stuff they have, how they sound. They got all these sound bites. They're well astute. They're very knowledgeable in where they're at, but we don't rely on the instinct. To me, instinct is the Holy Spirit. The instinct doesn't always have to explain its truth. You just have to go by your instinct. Do not ever suppress your instinct. If you know in your spirit something is not right and it is not of God, then you need to lean towards God and his understanding. Lean towards his word. Lean towards what you know innately within you, what is right, and hold your ground. You don't always have to argue that point. You do not always have to solidify that point, because it was, you prove it to me. You ain't got to prove shit. You just get quiet, and later in life, the Holy Spirit and through your research, you will validate what you thought through your instinct. Okay, so keep that in mind. What else I want to say? I think that's it. DM, if you want to email me about being on the show, let me know. I'm not really doing those shows. I'm tired, so I'll hop in once in a while. Ronald, I thank you for being on so long. Carol, thank you for being my lead moderator. It really means a lot. There's a lot of good news and bad news out there. Give it time. It's all playing out. You'll see what happened in Georgia throughout a lot of things. A lot of things will lean towards Pennsylvania. Pay attention to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is being questioned and called out. And if you get Biden's number broken down when he doesn't get 270, what's going to end up happening is neither one of them will reach that number, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court, or you're going to have contested voter fraud, and that will be going to the Supreme Court. And if one goes to the Supreme Court, guess what? The other part will follow through. Timeout, thank you so much for coming in. Timeout said that I'm transparent. I've always been real. Thank you for supporting that. Deb always got my back. Queen Lady came in the play, and I appreciate you as well. Many of you guys came in. Some of you guys have already chimed out. I appreciate that. CVM 42 came in saying, I'm white, but I have black in me. Honey, you my cousin. We all cousins. And like I said earlier, when you have people and they want to compare blacks to Asians, Latinos, and the Mexicans, I ain't got nothing to do with them people. I am cousins to white people. My mother was mulatto, which was half white and half black, and that was on the Census Bureau. And this goes back to understanding what kind of Negro you are. Please watch the last video that I've done on this channel, and I told you everybody has 4 last names. You need to find out the last names of your 4 people. That means your parent had 2 parents, they had names, and your mother had 2 names. Those are your 4 names. You also need to know on the Census Bureau, they might be mulatto, which you can even prove your lineage through England or Ireland. I'm still trying to figure out which part of the white of my grandmother. And I'm working on that part, but I do know their dates. And I do know their last names, and that means a lot. I thank you guys for watching the show. Like I told you, I don't come on all the time, but Kiki was on. She said, hey, Shirley, can you come on my show? And so I'm just piggybacking off of her because I said, I'm not going to do another show and then do her show. So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Please make sure you subscribe. Please click the like button and share this video. Let's get these numbers up to at least 1,000. I know if I was regular, I probably would have more regular numbers. If you don't follow me, please subscribe to T West, Afro Synergy News. He is really more current on this subject matter. Make sure that you go to Phil from the Advice Show and watch him. Make sure you watch Dynast. And make sure that you pay attention to which way Kiki is explaining what's going on too. Doris Smith, I appreciate you as well. Thank you, Shirley, for having other guests. You know, sometimes giving us information. I was listening, I came in late and I was listening again. You know, go back and rewatch the beginning of this video for those who are watching it now. If it's late for you, watch it in the morning. Stop and think things through, make notes. I did put in the link just to let you know 3 websites. One, I know we talked about USC and the money opportunity. So that was the Rossmore program. Make sure you watch and follow. I put that somewhere in the chat room. You'll see it up there. I also put in there the new California. California is going to be used as a template to be the example of the liberal progressive movement. So those who are black in California need to really get out because they're about to war right now with the federal government, especially with Trump proving his point, which he will, and I believe he will win this election, which would mean California is going to go to pure chaos because after all of this, they're going to expose every immigrant and illegal immigrant in this country, as well as elected officials who do not have descendants of Americans, not descendants of slaves, descendants of America. Children who are not descendants of America are going to be called into play if they're elected officials, and lawsuits are going to be flying left and right all through the state of California and throughout the rest of the country. So all I'm saying is that you got to watch these bullets and these darts are going to be flying. Don't allow your energy and emotions to get riled up by it. Just prepare yourself emotionally and financially for this fight. Sit back and have conversations with your parents. Replay these videos and pause them and say, what do you think about that point of the video? Especially this particular video when we're talking about the 13th Amendment. And, you know, he has always been questioning citizenship rights. Now, how this doesn't apply to Obama. Obama's mother was, I think, is white American. So her parents were American. Kamala want to be black parents. Both parents are immigrants. And that disqualifies her from VP because if Biden dies, you know what? If Biden dies, then that means she would become president. Do you guys all understand that? Okay, I know I'm being redundant, but sometimes I have to explain things over and kind of break it down even deeper so are more simpler for people who say, why is this important? It's important because it's going to affect us. And these people are going to leverage and saying, well, we're all the citizens of America. No, we have to, as descendants of slaves and foundational people, we have to let them know, no, that was written for us, not you. You got to go find your own. To me, now that you got so many of them folks over here, they ought to be classed a different way. They should not have full citizenship rights, which is true because she can't be fully vested as an American citizen because she cannot be president. Neither can Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that was part of the conversation that we talked about earlier. I think I've answered everyone's question. Timeout said, I'm pretty sure I've got mixed blood. It's factor. I'm an ADOS. That's okay because most ADOS are mixed blood. You cannot be ADOS and not have mixed blood. Understand that because you have white colonist blood in you. You're not, if you're pure African and you're a descendant of slave, that's most likely not true. You have had some kind of something in your system. You are a descendant of slaves when you mix that. So you're not an immigrant and we're not all the same. Keep that in mind. Yes, I still live in California. Everything's registered in California, but I'm back and forth between California and Texas and Georgia and Mississippi and a couple of other southern states I'll share with you later on. But I'm really leaning more towards a lot of things going on with the Black farmers. I'll be probably doing a video about that as well. I know that has nothing to do with the election, but I like to talk about money and opportunity. So if you like hearing about that, I will be sharing about how they're getting all this money to Black farmers. And I think Black people need to find houses with land, not just flip, but buy you some houses with some land. Because if this country gets kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Pups, you can bear your arms, you can cook your own food, you can grow your own stuff, and you can be in the community where your own people are. When you're in the inner city and you're living in the bubonic plague environment, where that plague could come back and hepatitis A, because all you're seeing is multi-family development in California, and everybody's laying on top of each other, and they're paying all this high-ass rent. You need to put yourself in a safe haven, and you need to prepare yourself for that. So yes, I am making preparations in other parts of the country, but I'm still fighting because I have a lot of family, and I was born and raised in California. So don't give up the fight. Keep your mind focused. Know who you are. Yes, I did meet Vernon Jones. He was an amazing person. We talked about maybe doing some projects in the future, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. So I appreciate that. Super Mike, thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. I'm going to look at Mississippi. Mississippi's got some good properties. I like Texas is one of my favorite spots. Georgia as well. My nephew's out in Georgia. I've got other friends out in Georgia. I just came back from Georgia. Dinus is in Georgia. If y'all ain't following Dinus, and I know T West is in Arkansas. Those you could get property under $100,000. I know in Texas they had one company that's come out right now for $49,000. You can 5 acres. So if you don't have a lot of land, 5, 6, 7 acres, that's a lot of land. An acre, but you also can bear rights on your land. You can grow vegetables. You can house your family. You can provide that safe haven for the community. So kind of look at that. Look at that. Look for tax auctions in those little southern states too. That'll save you a lot of money. Start thinking outside of your box. Start thinking of the COVID money that you're allotted. They are going to probably sign another COVID check. Don't get it twisted. It's wintertime, and they're going to keep pushing that. But the reason why Trump and Nancy Pelosi are not getting along regarding that, because Nancy wants to give it towards illegal immigrants, and she's put in some parts of the bill where California is getting bailed out. Trump is not bailing out California, and if he can continue to hold a line, he's not going to allow illegal immigrants to continue to try to get money out of this, even though many people have stolen IDs and birth certificates and other things and claiming and social security cards and trying to claim this COVID money. And they're cracking down on that, by the way, too. So if you're not getting this money legitimate, your ass might go to jail for fraud. Pay attention to that. Tennessee, oh my God, I have a lot of friends moving to Tennessee. Tennessee has a lot of great opportunities as far as pricing and tax breaks. So pay attention to Tennessee as well. But if you're in California and you can leverage, and if you need to sell your property, I'm a licensed realtor. I can help you sell your property because you have to have people in your property. We can figure out how much you can get for it. If you need a property analysis, I'll do that for free. Like I told you, my email is shirleyhusar@gmail.com. And we can do a property analysis for you, and we can tell you what your property's worth. If you got a condo or whatever, I would liquidate that, and then I would get as much equity I can out of my property because properties are high right now. And then what I would do is buy a property in the South, and then I would put the other in the bank. I had one lady, I told her to do that, And I said, you have enough equity that she was going to get like equity at least almost 300,000 out for her property. I said, go buy a property in the South for half of that, and then take the other half, put it in the bank, and then wait a whole year and just figure out what you want to do with your life. I mean, many of you guys have an opportunity right now with your properties to leverage yourself in another position, because as you know, in California, the rent is high, the mortgages are high, electric light and gas, the water, the cost of living is high, right? When you drive, you're not only just your gas bill, but just to driving around the city, your restaurants, every time you eat out, the freaking food is so high. Honey, you go to the South, you can eat breakfast for $5, for $5.99. You go eat at Denny's, you go eat at IHOP in California, it's $16.99. That's just ridiculous for breakfast. You walking out there with $60, $70, $80 bills at IHOP. That's ridiculous. So you have to kind of look at your life. I want you to stop and breathe. Look at your life. Look at the people around you. And you think about America first. Put your family first. Put the oxygen mask on you first, okay? Not even your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or your kids. Put it on yourself first. And after you put that oxygen mask, you start inhaling this conversation that I'm sharing with you, Kiki sharing with you, T West is sharing with you, Phil from the Advice is sharing with you. You start absorbing that, inhale that oxygen, and you start thinking, you know what? I am in a disposition state wherever you are. And you need to not get yourself out of that disposition. Pick up your cousin Pookie, who's homeless, who needs a place to stay, and say, look, let's go get Pookie. And let's get our people, and let's just go on somewhere else, and then let these white people fix their country. Okay, I'm trying to help y'all out. Am I telling the truth? Does anybody agree with me, or am I talking to the air? I need to know if someone's out there. Y'all tell me. Y'all get this? Super Mike says yes. Michael Super Mike says yep. Okay. Dim says Trump plan. The Constitution is booming in Metro Atlanta. Oh. It's constitutional. It ain't even his constitution. It's the Constitution. The federal Constitution will be fully enforced. That's why those attorneys are reading that. Honey, that legislation is going all the way back to the founding fathers. They're going to dig that crap up. They're going to dig till the Revolutionary War. They're going to find out, and they're going to go back to when they signed the preamble. You don't think I'm kidding? Whitewash colonists come out. Watch these white old colonists coming out. When Kiki said Karen is going to be the one to save this country, she ain't lying. Karen is talking to her husband. Honey, did you watch Shirley? Did you hear what she said? We need to look into the Constitution. Honey, these people don't have rights. They're not citizens. They're not black. That's for black people. Karen's going to be the one to save Black America. Can you believe that? I mean, that was eye-opening. When she said that, I thought, you know what? She got that right. Because Karen would get in front of the bus and say, no, bus driver, excuse me, you are driving on the wrong side of the street. Karen will stand in front of the bus for you. And y'all don't even know it. That shit is funny as hell. I mean, it's just, that's a funny statement. I can't wait, man. Karen said, I can't wait. Girl, get your popcorn and a glass of wine. Don't even stress over this. Let's see how this all unfolds. Because either way, you about to bring out them old Confederate families, and they're going to be in the streets fighting for their Constitution. We really have a number of Black First influencers taking over several cities in East and Southeast. That is very true. We have a lot of ADOS and foundational Black chapters that are growing nationally, and I commend those chapters. And I want to encourage people who are part of those chapters to share our videos with them. Yvette Cornell is doing a great job in getting that message out there. You got to give her credit for that. I mean, Yvette don't always see the things the same way, but you got to give Yvette credit for that. You got to give Tone Talk credit for that. You can't dismantle that either. Even Tariq in all his ways are adding to the table as well. Kemp is turning his back up. Well, Kemp people, remember I was in Georgia at that rally. If you didn't watch my video earlier, and I also posted a video where I was in front of Kemp's house in the governor's mansion. The people of Georgia ain't too happy with Kemp. So Kemp's going to be played out a different way. So let's see how he plays out in Georgia, because I just came from them, and now they don't care about him too much. So anyway, love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting and liking. Please click the like button, share this video on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Even if you just take a picture of me right here and then say, watch this video regarding Kamala wannabe Black Harris. Again, this is breaking news because they are going to be enforcing that with this administration and private organizations. The 12th Amendment, this woman is not qualified for vice president because both of her parents are not immigrants. Remember, you write that, are not American citizens, they're immigrants. They are not American citizens. And so that means she's first American, and first Americans do not qualify as a citizen. And to me, she shouldn't even be a first American because the 12th Amendment should dismantle all those people who are immigrants. They should have to understand that they don't follow under the 12th Amendment, and some other type of provision should be provided as far as classification because they're not natural born and they're not a citizen born, and they're not going to get full citizen vested right ever in America. They need to understand you will never be a fully vested citizen because your parents are immigrants. You understand that? Or we have fully vested because we have over 400 years as descendants of slaves. So hopefully that doesn't confuse you. And if it does, please just start reading the Constitution, the federal Constitution on those laws. And so that should really help a lot of you guys. What about the female press secretary under Camille here? It's irrelevant. All that stuff under Camille, whatever she says, it's irrelevant. Forget what these people are saying. Just go back and read the Constitution and watch attorneys fly, because attorneys are happy. They're getting paid all over left and right. And also pay attention to these other kind of groups that are supporting this. Pull me in, Shirley. I will share this tweet. Thank you, Carolyn. I thank you for sharing this video. It means a lot to me because I know we kind of covered a lot of spectrums on this because I was on Kiki Green's show. This is not my show you saw with all these people. I just basically wrote off her show. Now I'm back on mine. But I wanted you to hear other people's perspective, and I like doing those kind of shows because then I'm not the only running mouth on the show like I am right now. I think that's it. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'm getting out of here. Some of y'all are asking other questions. Give Karen a purpose, la la. Laura says, give Karen a purpose. Oh, honey, Lawrence, Karen gonna call her husband. She gonna get her husband now. He let her be herself, but now when it plays with the pocketbooks and the foundation, honey, Karen at night is bending over, and she said, honey, and she is talking to him. She's talking to him. So them white Karens might go in the front of the bus for you. So don't underestimate the white Karens. The white Karen might be the ones to save America. Dim says, I appreciate you, Shirley. And I appreciate all of you guys. I really do. We have to put these people definitely on notice and pay attention. Notice she hasn't resigned as a Senate seat yet. Isn't that interesting, girl 23 boy 456. You got that right. You know, she has not resigned as Senate. But her Senate seat is now under jeopardy because the fact that it said any elected official, not just the vice president. My understanding is, I think it's any elected official. So I'm going to do some more research on that. I know as vice president you can, but I think if you are an elected official in this country and your parents are not natural born citizen, that could cause a wave of a total American reset. But before I put that news out, let's do some homework on that one, boy. You talking about restoring the republic. You ain't lying, Nibba. Where you been? You ain't been on all night. I miss you. Neba. So yeah, we're talking about restoring America to its origin. That would actually reset us as well. That would be better for us. Because remember, we are cousins to white people. I'm cousins to white people. I don't relate to them Asian Latinos. And that plays a big part. Let's see. Deb says there's an article that was put on super long ago. Okay, you're referring to somebody else talking in the chat room. Bad information said. There's a lot of good and bad information out there. Please do your homework. Don't just take it for granted. Well, thank you. Nice speech you gave. I wasn't in Washington. I don't know which one speech that was, but thank you. I have been in Washington. The speech that you saw earlier was in Georgia. I was at a rally called Stop the Steal. Please follow Ollie at Ollie. Make sure that you follow him. He is leading the Stop the Steal movement, and he's doing a great job. ALI. Carolyn says, and that would be wonderful. I might even run for office. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because if you start seeing all these vacant seats pop up, I think ADOS needs to pop in there. I think a lot of ADOS students and advocates and Black Foundational people, we need to jump in there. How my cousins that lynch me? Well, then you need to go do your homework. I'm not here. Let me tell you something. I'm not doing a whole show on that. You don't know. That's then. I don't know if you're ADOS. You must be something else. A city of truth. You need to go do your homework. Then you understand how. And I've talked about that in my on my channel before. That's important. Deb says, Shirley, I was talking about the Scoop article. Scoop always is kind of questionable because they put a lot of questionable news out there about Kamala Harris being ineligible. Sometimes Scoop's right and sometimes Scoop's funky, but it's not even about them. I've said that a long time ago in my videos in 2017 when I talked about Omarosa buffoonery. And then I also shared about Kamala wannabe Black Harris is Indian. I shared that on my YouTube channel in 2017. So, yeah, y'all need to go back and see my homework because I talked about that. Immigrants have opened up barbershops, restaurants, all that because they've been allocated money and rights. Forget about all that. We're about to have a reset in America. We should just get ready for the wild toll ride and pay attention. So thank you guys for your love and your support. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Share it on your platforms, like I said, in groups. If you share it on the group platforms on YouTube, that helps grow our numbers and it builds a conversation with each other and for each other. And if you want to email me, it's shirleyhussar@gmail.com. I get a lot of emails, so I'll try to do the best I can to respond to you. Just remember to continue to not let people pull you down and watch your energy distribution. Hold your head up and smile. Many blessings to you. Keep Christ first. I'll talk to you soon. Good night, you guys.